Riders ready, watch the gate.
Yo.
Yoda.
All right. Oh.
Hey, this one was on me. I owe you both $1.
Well, you were doing important business.
Trailer looks good.
I had to make a stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
You had to get
Yeah,
his
trailer
water.
looks great. Yeah, trailer looks great.
Those are his waters, JV. He's
yeah,
got the
I
orange.
see that.
Yeah,
Hydrate.
the orange can waters.
I went fancy.
That's right.
Yeah, man. So excited. This is a fun one for me. This
Okay.
episode's gonna be fun for me.
All right.
JV.
Yo.
Oh, okay, I couldn't see your shirt.
It's
Yep.
my little button down one.
Mm-hmm.
It's his Dirty Knobs corporate shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Business guy.
Hey, EC, how about the big news this week?
What's the big news?
The big news this week was they announced the
Oh.
nominees for the New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
It was announced.
Yeah, it was announced, and our boy, James Theodore Vicente.
Yeah, JV.
Well, thank you. Yep. Exciting.
Tell him, JV, tell him.
It's exciting. It's going to be in October. So EC, if you can, I know you've been working on it, but if you can make it, it'd be great.
Yeah, it's tight time. I'm trying to swing it.
No, I know.
It would
It's
be
okay.
it would be an interesting interesting night. We got a lot of friends from back there. It would be a good time.
Yeah. Bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches.
That's
Get a little
right.
pizza.
Yeah. Chicken parm.
Chicken. There's a lot of good things out there. We could turn you on.
That's gonna be a weight gaining trip for me, baby.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I didn't see I mean, I knew you were going in. I'm tight with salami and but I didn't see the rest of the people that got in there. I saw Lopez got in, him and his dad, I saw.
Yep.
Other than that, I didn't see who else.
Jared Justice, Farside, Chris Williams, Spanky Campbell. There was a bunch of racers. I think there's like 12 or 13 racers. And then there's I think 4
Kathy Shackle, Jen Zuner. Yeah.
Yep.
Tammy Williver.
Wow.
There's a bunch. Yeah, I think they tried to, build year one because they've been behind a little bit, but you got to get those committees together.
Yeah.
So then you can vote, you can start having a vote.
Yeah.
But yeah.
John Salami's in.
John's in, an influencer. Yep.
Yeah.
Frank Klemecki. There's a I don't have the list in front of me, but there's a good group. It's on the New Jersey Hall of Fame website there. But John did a good job. He did a good job announcing it on Friday.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of people that watched it too. Not even live in New Jersey. They were just, logging in, checking it out. So that's exciting. That at least
Dude, that's going to be a fun night.
Yeah. Some of the
listen, I am so proud of you, JV. So proud of you, man.
Thanks.
And brother. I love that my kids saw it and they were all, "Oh, JV, yay!"
Miranda sent an awesome note on Facebook. It was great. It was nice. Really touching. You got great kids. It's good. It's
James
good.
and the Giant Peach.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's good. I'm excited, and there's a lot of good people. And like you said, EC, I think it's going to be a fun night. Well, it's not only the night. During the day, they have some type. John has coordinated, like a little bit of a bike show. Rob Lane is going to be there with his whole setup. They have a foot down competition. I think Dr. J. Rich is doing an old school clinic
A clinic.
at Howell.
How to
Yeah.
take your feet off in the turns.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
to
they're
T-bone somebody.
trying to make it fun, but yeah, should be good. I'm sure he's gonna add a bunch more stuff on there too.
That would be sick, dude.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be a fun day. Very cool.
Well, speaking of fun, our
Yeah.
guest tonight is he and I have had some shenanigans together. So I think it's gonna be a fun one. And I know JV, this might be your biggest Wikipedia list so far.
Holy smokes.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's bring him in.
You made him wait a long time.
I know.
He made us wait. Dude, he made
right.
us wait
That's
a long
true.
time.
That's true.
Yeah, we've been trying to get this one for a minute, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I think he was 15X when I started this asking him to come on here.
Exactly.
Pretty sure he had red curly hair and rode for Schwinn when I
That's
asked him.
amazing.
Can you hear me?
Yep,
There
we
you
can
go.
hear you. You're
Can you
halfway
see
there.
me?
We
No.
can't see you. Dude, your audio is way better than ours, bro.
Yeah, sounds good. You're like,
I
Bro.
made it myself.
I bet.
Hold on
Oh.
just a second.
Look at that.
How about that?
Dude,
Oh man, so pro.
he is so
Yeah.
pro, dude. Look at him.
he's got the set.
I will tell you this. I never had red hair in my life ever. I don't know why people think that.
It was
Never.
the commercial. It was just the way you looked in the commercial.
Love it.
Nice.
Well, tell him, JV, who do we have for our guest tonight?
Oh my! Well, we want to say hi to the guy first.
Oh,
I
sure.
mean,
Say hi
my
to the guy.
gosh, we made him wait in waiting room for a little bit.
I know.
I wasn't sure the thing was working or not. I'm like, look, I'll just wait and see what happens.
No, it's
Yeah.
awesome to have you. Finally, I think we were talking about it before, but man, we've been trying to get you, and you've been busy.
Well, I like to keep them waiting, and it makes them want it even more.
and you race 97 nationals a year.
Well, 98, but we don't have to count all of
That's right.
It's 99 now. That's 3 a weekend.
That's
them.
right.
Yeah, right. Gosh, I know. Goodness.
All right. Well, I could take it through it. Eric, you know how this goes. I'm going to do a little bit of some background on you for the listeners, but my gosh, I have to say that there is no doubt that you have to be the most decorated racer ever. Gotta be. I can't think of anyone that's even close, but yeah, and your Wikipedia only goes up to 2012.
Right. Right.
But this is going to be funny. So Eric Fitzgerald Roop, nicknamed Big Daddy, took that name.
Hold on, wait, what? Eric Fitzgerald.
So listen, I was born in 63 and the president at the time was Kennedy, and that's his middle name.
Okay.
That's where I
like
got it. That's where I got it.
All right. Took the name Big Daddy 1988 at Rockford when ABA announcer said, "Big Daddy coming out on fire." That's how that nickname started. Started racing at age 11 in 1974. Still races today, as I said. Let me just go down some of this, but Eric, I'm probably going to miss a lot. I mean, it doesn't matter. There's a lot of stuff here. 1980, NBL National number 2. 1982, ABA number 2. Jag World Championship. 1983, NBL number 1 Pro. 1984, NBL number 1 and ABA number 3. 1985, NBL number 2. 1986, NBL Pro Cruiser number 2. 1987, NBL number 1 Pro Cruiser, ABA number 1 Pro Cruiser. 1987 and 89, IBM XF, IBM XF Pro Cruiser World Champ. 1987, IBM XF Pro Cruiser Vision Streetwear World Cup Champ. 1988, ABA and NBL #1 Pro Cruiser. 89, NBL Pro Cruiser Grands winner, ABA Pro Cruiser Gold Cup West champion. 1991, ABA Pro Cruiser Grands champ. 1995, NBL #1 Vet Pro, ABA National #1 Vet Pro Cruiser. 96, sorry, NBL Legends Grands champion, ABA National #1 Pro Vet Cruiser. 97 to 2001, ABA National #1 Pro Vet Cruiser. 1997 and 98, ABA World Cup Pro Vet Champion. 98, ABA Vet Pro Race of Champions Champion. 1999, Race of Champion A Pro Champion.
Dude, I'm gonna have to edit a bunch of this out.
Brother, it is.
It's gonna be a
let's just-
two-hour podcast just for that.
I mean, let's just say that there's so much left, right? And the last entry is 2008, and that's probably like there's probably 7 more to even get there.
Hey, Big Daddy,
Yeah.
do you know how many? Do you
Yeah.
know how many titles you got? Because it's
Well, let me see. You see that jersey on the wall back there?
yes.
Yeah.
It's got them all listed there on the back. Anyway,
Wow.
there's 21 professional #1 titles. There's 10 UCI IBMXF World Championships, pro and amateur combined. And then there's 13 ABA NAG #1 titles. So there's a shit ton of them.
That's
And
40.
N-
So what's that? 44?
that should be 44. Yeah.
44. Okay, my math was right.
Hey,
44.
speaking of 44, Big Daddy,
Yeah.
do you know how to say 44 in French? You should. You don't remember? Okay, this story is going to come up later on.
Oh boy. Okay.
Hey, so there's some other titles that you didn't list, JV.
Well,
These
go
are the ones
ahead.
these are the ones I could think of. To my knowledge, first AA pro to win a main that had 2 kids.
Fact.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see. He was the best of all the AA pros. He was the best golfer during his BMX career.
That is not true. You had me easily. You had me.
No, I wasn't good until after I stopped, and then I barely beat you. I would say, and I would have to say, tied for first for best BMX face painter pro. Another story that's going to come up later.
That's a good one too. I got snapshot pictures of that still.
That's amazing.
I tied for first for best international hotel practical joker.
Oh boy.
That'll come up later.
the
And #1 by far global for most unique golf chipping style.
technique.
The technique, we called it. That will come up later. I can't wait to share these stories, man. So good.
So here's one of the proudest things in my whole career is that I'm the only guy who ever won a AA main event after being in the Hall of Fame. And even looking back at that, it won't happen anymore because guys get voted years and years later now. But I
Yeah.
mean, I was still racing AA when they voted me into the Hall of Fame, and the fact that I was able to still win a race after that, I mean, to me, that's one of the greatest things in my book.
I
Yeah,
mean, Eric,
that'll never happen again. Never.
Eric,
happen.
your class of 88 in the Hall of Fame, and 88 on my list is like the first quarter of the list of all stuff.
Right.
So,
Well, this is why some days my lower back hurts.
holy cow, awesome. I mean, look, just for everybody, really something like, I don't know, 23 articles, interviews, 13, 14 at least minimum covers. As a pro, you race for Schwinn, SE, Mongoose, Profile, Mongoose again, Haro, Proforce, GHP, Park Pre Bicycles, Mongoose, GT, Redline, MCS. Did I miss something in there?
No, you got them all.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There's some stories about leaving SE, and then taking a big pay cut with Mongoose. But I did have a good fact here, something about your first pro race, you got third and you won $3.
$3. I just
Which-
told that story
You
like 2 weeks ago at the local track, and I took that $3 that night, and we went to Jack in the Box, and I got to pay for my own dinner.
But your entry wasn't your entry fee like $2?
I don't know it because we were sponsored by Schwinn, and they were paying for all that, so
All right.
I didn't pay attention to that.
$3 is about $11 today.
It was
my
it was a
education.
it was a Wednesday night, right? And it was enough to buy a combo meal at Jack in the Box.
Amazing, man.
The
All right.
first time I saw Eric was on a TV commercial. Schwinn did it in the mid 70s. Schwinn did a TV commercial, and it really featured Eric more than anyone else. And I worked at a Schwinn shop, Riverside Schwinn. So we played it. We saw it all the time, and we're like, oh. And then the first time I saw Eric Rupe, I was like, he's not that big. I saw, because I was used to seeing Kevin McNeil, Leo Green, Stu Thompson, Dennis Dane, all big guys. Then when I saw Eric the first time, I was like, oh, that guy's he's not giant. And then I saw him ride his bike, and I was like, oh, he's a giant. He's a giant. I should say that too. Of all the pros, in the heyday, in the 80s, when you would see a pro main event and they would go down the line, the guys were super tall, big guy, and then all of a sudden Eric Rupe, much shorter, smaller in stature. But when the gate dropped, the size didn't matter. I mean, you just made up for it with so much talent. And I always say, when people ask me about Eric Rupe, I say he was the most flawless rider. It was a guy that won by didn't making mistakes, no mistakes at all. Just was the best, most technical rider. In motocross in our day, I would say I equate him to David Bailey. Was just so fast because he never made mistakes.
Super efficient, man.
Super efficient.
That's a compliment. And I got to tell you, it's not by accident, it's by design. And that's how I always approached it. I didn't have to be the fanciest, and I didn't have to be the absolute fastest, but if I could make less mistakes and be more precise on the bike and just be in control, that would get it done. And that's what I counted on. I still do today.
Yeah, your riding still is that way, man. You like it's consistently been like that. I mean, periodically I get to see races, and then I get to see the live feeds, and it's always man, I will tell you, racing against somebody like you that is not super high flash, if you will, but just methodically wears you down, and you can't figure out like why or how. It's demoralizing, man, because it's like, you're not doing anything that's this fantastically amazing stuff, but you're always smooth, always precise, always gaining speed on little jumps, always just progressing through the course, where you see other guys that are doing stuff that's a little more flashy, and you're like, oh, I totally know why he's going faster. It's really hard to figure out how you go so fast, or it still is. I don't see too many of your races now, but it's just methodical, man.
Well, I will say the last 10 years, I've spent a lot of time teaching, and it's funny because I'm now finding out how important all that stuff was to me. I knew it was, but I'm really finding it out now because I'm teaching all these kids that exact same stuff, how to get it done by just being flawless, right? Without making mistakes, and being more efficient, and using the track to gain speed, using the track to keep your speed. All that stuff is so important. And I'm teaching it to kids every week, and it's making a difference.
Yeah, you were always really, really good at that, man. Every time I would watch you race, you could always see, you would almost always put yourself in good spots so that you wouldn't disrupt that flow, disrupt that efficiency, right? It's like, it's smart. It's easy to dive into a corner, right? And to ride the white line inside, and then you come out, but you don't have that exit speed, right? And it never seemed like you would choke yourself out on a corner like that. You would always put yourself in a good spot so that it's like, I'm still in this, I still got a shot here, and I'm going to stay in the flow, and I'm going to get them on the next set of jumps because I'm going to be more efficient.
Well, that's exactly what I tell kids when I ask them a lot of questions because I want them to be able to answer me, but I've already given them the answers, but I always have them reiterate. I said, what is the most important thing about any corner on the track? And the answer is, how fast are you going to come out of that corner? Right?
I like
It's
that.
not about what you do going in, because anybody can do that. It's how fast are you coming out? And a lot of the passing is going to be done exiting the turn with more speed than the next guy. It's not necessarily dive bombing in a corner. So
Yeah,
it's
especially in this day and age, right? Because the type of racing, you know, has evolved into more exit speed passing. So exiting out of the corner versus diving in and kind of running it in on somebody and running them high. You can't, it's pretty rare that it happens. The berms have to be really big for you to run it in on somebody. So what you see a lot now is these real subtle line crossovers, and you're still trying to carry that same exit speed. It's not that real exaggerated high-low like we used to have in those horse arenas.
right. That's why momentum is key. You have to, because it takes so much work to get up to speed. You cannot afford to do anything to lose the speed. So it's about keeping your momentum up.
I love it.
I don't know about you guys, but I wish I would have taken a clinic from him in 1979 or 1980.
Well, here's the funny thing. When we started going on summer tours in my first summer tour was 78, we were teaching clinics. I was 15 and we were teaching clinics all over the country. And I had never taught anybody before, but all of a sudden I'm just sharing all the stuff that I've learned. And, you know, when I started racing, nobody was teaching. There were no teachers. You couldn't take a clinic anywhere ever. So we started doing that in like 78, and it just turned into this thing where you could share your knowledge with somebody who knew nothing, and it made such a difference, and it still does to this day. You know, we're talking 45 years later, I'm still teaching kids, and it's as rewarding as ever to see somebody learn something that they didn't think they could do, and they had never done before, and you just showed them how, and the look on their face is just it's priceless. It really is.
Hey,
That's
JV, it's
awesome,
not
dude.
too late. I think we should take a clinic for
we gotta get on the gate.
for
I love
Frogtown.
that.
We gotta take a clinic for Frogtown.
I love that, Eric. I think that's
Eric,
awesome.
how do people get a hold of you to find out about your clinic information?
The Freedom Park BMX track in Camarillo is where I teach weekly, and I also do private lessons out there. So they have a Facebook page and an Instagram page, Freedom Park BMX. So that's how you do it.
Hey Eric, I think it's awesome, you know, that you still do it, and I've told these guys, we have conversation. I say, you know, there are a lot of old school racers that, you know, that try to race today, but you definitely can see that they have a hard time with the way the tracks are set up now. They're just different, and for sure, yourself and Billy Griggs, as you watch them, you both against everyone else, you've really figured it out, at least how to do it, you know. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, for me, it's only because I've stuck with it, because I've never thought of myself as anything special as far as my riding skills. I just stuck with it all this time. I've never quit. I've been racing consistently for 50 years now. And I think if I had taken these long breaks like some of these guys have done, you come back and it's a different world and you can forget it, right? And Billy has always had massive skill, and even he will admit that it wasn't easy when he came back, and he had to figure things out, and he's such a skilled athlete on the bike that he's now probably as good as ever, right? And you know, we lose our speed as we get older, but you can still ride the bike, and Billy has that ability to make the track look pretty easy, but it's not. There's a lot of jumps out there, and it's dangerous.
Dude.
Yeah.
It is, man. When my kids were racing BMX a couple of years ago, I would go to the track with them, and I've been active a lot. I've been on bikes. I've been racing mountain bikes at a high level not too long ago. Man, those rhythm sections are really hard, like really, really, really hard. And when you get older, and we lose that fast twitch muscle, and so trying to pump all those downsides through those rhythms, and halfway through when the hammies start locking up, man, dude, it really is. It is very difficult to get through a rhythm section as you get older because your muscles don't do what you want them to do, and especially if you raced at a high level, what they used to be able to do.
Well, see, because your brain has not forgotten what you used to
Right.
be able to do, and your body's just not doing it. And if you're not careful, you're going to end up on your head, you know.
Yeah.
And this is why I just admire these young guys so much. They're so fast, and their legs are fast, their arms, all their movements are so quick, and you know, it's because of their age, you know, because that
Yeah.
goes away after a while, you know.
Well, these guys today aren't smoking in the staging, and they're not drinking beer between motos. Not like it was back in the day. You know, they
You know,
don't
it's
have
funny.
the challenges that some of our guys had, you know.
I was thinking about this the other day because, you know, one of my lifelong BMX friends and lifelong competitors was Greg Hill, and we grew up together. We started together, and I remember Greg being 18, 19 years old, and it would be Friday night after practice. We're all going out to eat at Wendy's on Friday night, and this guy's eating two triple cheeseburgers with the fries and a drink. And I'm like, I was just thinking about that the other day. I'm like, these kids today don't do that stuff. This is probably why they're just a little bit better.
Yeah. And you call yourself an athlete.
Yeah.
You can't even eat a triple, two triples.
Two triples. I was the reason I was thinking that is because I was thinking, I don't think I could eat one of those today. And I remember him eating two of them like they were nothing.
Yeah.
But that's the youth, you know, that's the youth.
It's definitely evolved.
Hey, so when you started, BMX was a lot different than it is today. Where did you start, and what was the track you started on? I'm dying to hear this.
My very first race was at the Van Nuys Youth Center. It's still there. I rode by it the other day. The track is now, it's just an empty field, and it's friggin' tiny. I can't even believe the track was in there. But this was in 74, late 74. And we were riding dirt bikes, and my father would take us out to Indian Dunes, which is out by Magic Mountain. And it was a motocross park, and they happened to be having a bicycle race one weekend out there that my brother was there, and he heard about it. So it was going to be the next weekend at a place called Soledad Sands. So my brother and I were going to go try this motocross on a bicycle. And I got in trouble doing something, and I wasn't allowed to go. So my brother went without me, and he went to Soledad Sands and raced. And the very next weekend, he found out that the next weekend they were having a race at the Van Nuys Teen Center. And I did get to go to that. I was 11 years old, terrified, could not afford the $5 for a NBA membership. So I had to race expert. If you're not a member, you got to race expert. I would think that would make anybody go buy a membership, right?
I thought that was
raced expert for a year.
That's a great marketing idea. I thought it was great. I was too cheap. I raced expert when I started because I was too cheap to race novice. Plus, a white plate looked better than the green plate anyway.
I raced expert for a year because I didn't want to give up that $5.
Same.
And I'm not kidding. I raced probably once a week for that year. No trophies, never. Smoked every time. Finally saved up the $5, bought a membership, and won a trophy the first time out. So I was definitely ready for novice by the time I raced expert for a year.
That's wild, man.
But my actual first race, I remember being like literally hands shaking on the gate. I was so nervous because I'm just this little 11-year-old kid who's never done this before. Now I'm racing against guys that are experts and they have jerseys. Are you kidding me? These guys have jerseys. So I get it's not even a gate. It's a rubber band, right? They're pulling it across in front of everyone's faces and just letting it go, and you just take off. And so I get to the first turn, which is just some flat sweeper, wasn't even a berm. And I slide out. Somebody runs my bike over and breaks my chain. My day is over. That was it. That's my first race experience. I got to the first turn and that was it. So I had a broken chain. My bike was done. I was it. I didn't even race the next couple of races. Didn't have a bike. So anyway, that's I won't forget it. And that place is where I grew up, that Van Nuys Youth Center. So many good memories there.
And so many good riders came from there.
Oh my goodness, yes. You can't even count how many Hall of Fame members came from that track. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And how many super fast locals that were, may not have made big names, were not Hall of Famers, but you couldn't beat them at the teen center.
Yeah, there were some fast dudes there for sure. In fact, that track is where I met Greg Hill for the first time. We were probably 11 or 12 years old.
Dude, that's
kids.
insane.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you turned pro before he did?
Yes. His dad wouldn't let him. My dad didn't care. He's like, go ahead, try to win $3.
I'll show you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was 14 when I did that. And within a few months, Greg was racing pro. But it just wasn't when I did it. I think maybe me doing it let his dad realize, maybe it won't be so bad. Go ahead,
14,
but I was 14
years old, 14 years old, turning pro, and there wasn't a single A, double A. It was against all.
It was just pro.
Big names.
Holy.
Yeah, it was just pro. Now, if you think about it, it's not like I mean, the 14-year-old kids are fast today, but they're not elite fast, And so here I am, 14. I'm racing against, guys like John George and Stu Thompson and Harry Leary. Of course I'm getting my ass handed to me, but I'm still on the gate with them and I'm trying,
That's crazy, dude.
I think now of, especially back then, you see a picture, and we'll post one, a picture of Stu Thompson back then, how big he was. He's big as huge. And little 14-year-old Eric Rupe with his curly hair and freckles.
So at 15, we go to the Jag World Championships, which was the first Jag World Championships. And, Stu and David Clinton are the fastest guys on the planet at the time. Okay. And those are my heroes. I mean, David Clinton was a local at my track. Now, Stu was not. Stu lived in Corona, hour and a half away, easy. And so I didn't see him much. He might come to Yarnell or something like that. But David Clinton, I was seeing him all the time. He lived in Simi Valley. So he was the guy that I looked up to the most at that time. So we get to this Jag World Championships. I'm 15. I think my only pro earnings to that point was the $3 from the Wednesday night local. And I make the pro main. I'm 15 years old and I'm on the gate with Stu and David Clinton and I don't know, maybe Ruminer and Stanley Robinson and
who knows? Yeah.
I don't know who else was in there, but Stu won the race. I got second and David got third. I could have died and gone to heaven. I finished in between the two greatest guys on the planet. And, here I am looking up to both of them, not just as from a hero standpoint, but physically looking up to both of them. Those guys were huge.
That's phenomenal, man. At 15. That's crazy.
Was that the game change? Do you think that was the big change, like in terms of how they viewed you after that race?
For me, it didn't really matter to me how they thought of me, but for me, that really told me you could do this. You could really do this because right up before that point, I was really wondering if this is what I was going to do. Am I good enough to do this? But that race right there was like, I'm fast enough to do this, you know. So I would have to say I got more serious at that time and started taking it more seriously and really pursued it as a profession.
That's
Was
awesome.
definitely the
Yeah,
thing that
that's awesome.
catapulted me there for sure.
15, man. That's crazy, dude. It's wild to think about.
Hey, I want to
Okay.
backtrack a minute. I just thought of
Yeah.
something I forgot to say earlier, and that was when you said you were super tech. You admitted that you're very technical, that you are very precise and very efficient. I forgot to tell people that one time you and I went to a jumping area not far from your house.
I'll never forget what you said, and I think about it all the time.
I mean, there's nothing that Eric Rupe can't jump. And they were a huge set of doubles. And Eric jumped them no problem. I mean, and they when I got there, they were intimidating to look at the first time. But no matter where we went around the world, Eric Rupe could jump anything. It just he would look at it a minute, he would calculate in his brain, he would get to the right spot, and he would hit it the first time with the exact right amount speed to hit the backside. Every time he was perfect. So people think, you know, he was still rad, and he could cross it up. He'd cross up a little bit.
So I think about that to this day. How on earth could I do that? Why would I go hit that? Those things were 25 feet apart and 6 feet tall, and I'm just going to boom it for the first time and get perfect backside. I could have died. Well, I guess when you're young, you don't think about that.
Yeah, and there weren't tracks like that. There was no reason. It wasn't going to make you faster to do it.
Oh no, no, there was
All I
nothing like
know
that
is
on
that
a track.
I was still putting my helmet on or my shoes on, and you had got, you were looking at it and we were talking about it, and you go, yeah, I think I'm going to go. And I was like, yeah, go ahead. And I thought, he's not going to go. He's not going to go. And he did. And he went and he jumped the first time. Cold, straight cold. Just jumped him. Big jump. It's like, oh. So I don't want anyone to ever think that Mr. Efficient wasn't rad or isn't rad.
He
Totally
was
rad.
fearless. He was fearless at one point for sure. But the thing that I thought you were going to say, which I'm going to say right now, is it wasn't at that place where we jumped that time, but there was another time you and I were at some spot jumping something, and your exact words to me were, I can jump anything you can jump fully crossed up. And I was just like, oh man, that makes me feel bad. Like, I'm going to just put it all out there on the line just to make it from lip to lip. And he's going to come over doing a full X up.
Yeah,
and
but that's the reason
you
why
could jump anything. I was jumping fully crossed up.
that's the reason why JV can write. He can read my Wikipedia in about 30 seconds, and it takes 20 minutes to read all your titles. That's the difference. Oh man. Hey, I have another question for you. I need your opinion about a couple of things. What do you think the difference is? Give me in your words the difference between Brent Patterson and Brian Patterson. Arguably the fastest brother professionals ever. What do you think the difference is between the two of them?
The main difference is that Brian was the younger one, and Brent was the reason Brian was as successful as he was. I can promise you that, because I had the same with my brother. Mike King had the same with Eddie. And there's something about being the younger brother and having a great older brother that will just drive you like you just don't know, And Brent was awesome. And Brent was #1 pro before Brian even raced pro. So Brent was Brian's motivation, I'm sure of it. And especially when they both got, they were both at the greatness level at the same time. I used to just envy those guys because they were winning races and getting first and second a lot. And they were impressive to watch. And they were motivating factors for each other. And there's just really something that friends can do that, but there's nothing quite like siblings doing that.
John Cruz told us a story about how Brent would ride, they would all ride together. And then when they stopped riding, Brian would go ride again. And then,
There's motivation to be better,
Yeah.
to try and outdo your big brother who's already successful. Of course, you're going to go out. You're going to sneak out and go ride some more.
okay, so how about Ronnie Anderson, Richie Anderson?
Same thing. I mean, Ronnie, Richie was more successful younger, and then Ronnie became this great pro. Well, then Richie stepped it up more because Richie raced amateur for a while, and he was so successful from a young kid all the way up to the oldest expert class and winning all the time. And that probably motivated Ronnie to, I got to make it. My little brother's making it. I got to step it up. And he did. Well, then now Richie has to do the same thing. Well, dang, my brother's #1 pro. Time to step it up. So it's that same, it's siblings motivating each other. It really is.
I think Richie,
it's something else.
I know Richie had it. He got some type of a hip injury.
Yeah.
He really messed up his hip bad. And I really think that derailed what maybe what his potential could have been. Because he was he was still winning races on Tufts, dude. He was riding for Skyway as a pro and he was winning pro races on Tough Wheels. It's insane to think about.
Know.
No, like
it really is.
I have 3 more. I have 3 more.
Wait. Wait, before you move on to the next one. In their heyday, Eric, who wouldn't you want to be next to on the gate? Which one of the 2 brothers?
Probably, well,
I already know the answer, and I know why.
Well, it would be Brian just because he would be the hardest to beat, but it would also be Ronnie because you didn't know what was going to happen, and that was for real. I mean, it didn't matter if you knew you could beat him; he'd find a way to get around you or put you on the ground trying. And that was part of his thing, is to get in your head and have you thinking about that and not thinking about winning. And that was a hard thing to be able to separate. Stop thinking about all the crazy stuff, right? And just focus on the race. But this is why he got in so many people's heads, and that was his game, and it worked.
He was good at it.
Yeah, he was really good at it.
I do think Ronnie was great. But I do think Richie would have surpassed him had he not injured his hip.
Very possible. Very possible.
So then let me ask you about the next set of siblings, Eddie King and Mikey King. What do you think the difference was there?
Well, it's the same thing for sure. Eddie was successful as an amateur and then was this superstar pro before he ever even raced a pro lap. Okay, they were just hyping him up because he was the real deal, right? And Mikey was still little, like 4 years younger, so he had that motivation to be better than his brother. And skill wise, Eddie was stronger, stouter, buffer, but Mike had crazy skill. I mean, Mikey had Eric Carter skill, I mean, that was hard to come by. And he took that, and Eddie is the one who really helped Mikey get to the fast level, because Mikey had the skills and the style and the finesse and the cornering and all that. Eddie helped him get fast. That was the brute strength fast. But still, it was that sibling rivalry that just motivated him to be better. And it's so strong. It just is.
Yeah. Mikey, there was a spell where Mikey was on Torker, and it was definitely in the shadow of Eddie at that point. He was a fast kid and he was racing, but Doug Davis was also on the team, and there were some faster kids in Mikey's class. And Mikey was small. And then And I remember I actually was hanging out with Mikey at Devonshire Downs, maybe 83, 84, and he was on Dirt Slinger. And that was like one of the first races where he had he was kind of just dabbling. He wasn't really racing a bunch of stuff. He'd taken a little break, and it was one of the first races where he'd come back. And I remember he kind of grew into his paws a little bit, and he would started hitting puberty, and he had like a little bit of power, and it started to plug into all of that skill and finesse. And I mean, at that point, he had an offer from a couple of teams. Yeah.
Well, he went from that to, was it 84 being on Huffy as a 15-year-old, right? Something like that.
It was a light switch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it
sudden.
had a lot to do with him growing into, like you said, getting bigger and big enough. And now not being the little guy anymore. Now he's big enough, and
Right.
it showed. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he paired it with all that skill. And then obviously had Hadley was his team manager. That guy was such a good team manager, right? He could really get you motivated. He had good teammates around him.
Well, imagine being teammates with Stu Thompson. What?
I know, right?
Come on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Stu Thompson, Gary Ellis, Brent Romero.
Yeah, that was a Hadley put together an insane team, man, and he thrived. Mikey took that opportunity, and it was a bit of a wild shot, right? Because he hadn't been racing. He was at that point he was still Eddie's brother, and
right.
He took Hadley saw potential in him as Bob was really good at, and plugged him in. And man, Mikey made the absolute most of that opportunity, and he.
Well, that first year on Huffy, he just lit it on fire, and
yeah,
I believe that's the year he won the amateur title, right?
It was the first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and he wrote himself into the record books, from that. So, but I do agree with you that, as on the theme that Mike's talking about, that brotherly motivation that,
well, and if you look at so many brothers in history, you just look at what the younger one did, but it's because of the older one that was even possible.
Yeah.
I'll throw another one. How about Kent Elliott and Sherry Elliott?
Dude, right?
I can't imagine what that must have been like
Right?
for him,
Oh,
really.
God.
I mean, because she was
And I
a
gotta say, Kent
superstar.
Elliott's was fast and a good
Yeah,
rider.
of course. Yeah. But I mean, she was as superstar as it gets, and she couldn't be touched.
No.
It was amazing. But, just living under the same roof has got to motivate you just in itself. Doesn't matter if it's boys or girls, older, younger, just you're living with that person that's driving you to be better.
Yeah.
And because they're your siblings, they're always rooting for you,
You could
I got one for JV. What about the Clem twins, JV?
Lisa and Teresa. Lisa and Teresa.
Wow. You know the names.
I do, dude.
I didn't know
Double
they were
power.
Tell the story, JV.
No, I'm not going to tell the story.
I'm going to tell. If you don't tell the story, I'm going to tell the story. I don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Go ahead. You can tell.
Dude, we were in a race back east, and JV and I were walking. It was right, during the mains. We were walking by somewhere, and we saw the Clem twins. They just finished their race, and one of them was crying. And JV walked over. Go talk to her, JV. Talk to her, JV. And he walks over there and he says, "Hey, how did it go?" And she just started yelling at him.
Yeah, she wasn't nice.
No,
Really.
JV,
I mean, she could have.
I hope your other crank falls off. And he walked away.
No, I did not. I did not. But Mike definitely made fun of me after she kind of like shot me down.
After I egged him on, and then she shot him down.
Then she shot me down.
Yeah. I hope your crank falls
That's what
off.
you get for trying to be a nice guy.
I didn't even know they were real twins, man. I just thought it was because there was two cranks.
That's a real thing. Two girls, twins.
Amazing. That's awesome.
Hence the name Clem Twin Cranks.
So I gotta ask, because you spoke about him, but we haven't brought his name up, and I gotta talk about him. And that is, you have a brother that raced pro, that was a good pro.
Yeah.
Was and I always say had the best hair in BMX. And that's Robbie Rupe.
Yeah, that's my big brother.
Yeah. What a
I
just
was
a,
always envious of that hair. I always hated my hair and I loved his hair.
yeah, and he always had it was always perfect. Dude, it would be in I don't care. In Pennsylvania in the summer, it was hot and humid. He would take his helmet off and it was like the perfect coiffed hair right out. It
Yeah.
didn't matter. It was
You look
fantastic.
like a runway model all the time.
All the time. All the time.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So what do you think the biggest difference was between you and Robbie? And it's a rhetorical question. I know the answer.
Honestly, it's just a mental thing. I just didn't struggle with the mental aspects as much as he did, because one of the things that we used to talk about was there was nobody faster in practice. He won practice at more races than I can remember, and for some reason wasn't getting it done when it was go time. And that's just, it comes right down to the mental part of it,
Yeah.
and you can't undersell that mental part of any sport is the thing, right? Because we can all physically train and we can all practice and get better, but the mental thing is the really hard part.
At the
And
highest level, yeah, at the highest level, no doubt,
Man.
right? I mean, it's 'cause
yeah,
there's a you know, there's a bunch of names that you could always say. It's like, well, he could win, he could win, he could win, he could win, she could win, she could win. It's like,
right.
but it's who's able to plug in and execute on the day.
Right.
In one word, I would say it's temperament. And when you shorten that and with Robbie, if you shorten that word up, it's called temper. And dude, this is one of my favorite. I've told this story, in the golf world. I've told the story so many times. Eric, give it a shot. You tell it your version, and if I
Well.
tell it better, I'll edit it out.
Okay. So he and
Wait a
I,
minute. Wait. Let me just laugh for a
Oh,
hold on.
goodness.
Well, I'll have to edit this part out. Hey, as you guys know, I've worked at some very posh country clubs, and I have done a lot of junior clinics. I've done a lot. I've played with the president of the United States. I've been in the golf world, and I never let the opportunity pass by to tell this story right here.
so we play golf a lot when we were getting as teenagers and older, and then when we were out on our own in our 20s, going to play golf when we're not racing BMX, we go golfing. It was fun, but the golf course is not where you want to go if you have temper issues. Okay, and we go to play this one time, and he's borrowed my dad's clubs. Okay, and it's not going well, and now we're on the back nine, and now it's really not going well. And now I don't remember the first shot where it happened, but it was a bad one, and that poor club got broken over his leg. Okay, so there's club number one, and he's just like, fuck it. And so we go on to the next ball, and he skulls another one, hits another terrible shot, another broken club. And this is 3 or 4 holes all the way into the 18th hole. There were no clubs left in the bag. They were all broken and tossed into the bushes.
No.
on the last hole, all he had left was the putter, and that didn't make it either. And these are my dad's clubs. They're not even his.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow.
And he said, I'm never playing this game again, ever. He could not take the pressure, right? And he stuck to his word for 20 something years and never played. But
Wow.
eventually me and him and his son and my son played some par 3 golf together. So he did swing a club again, but he didn't break any this time. But I still tell the story all the time. It's funny as shit to me.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorite golf stories ever.
I just
Ever.
mentioned this to my dad a couple weeks ago we were talking about golf, and I said, just don't let Rob use your clubs.
So when the way I tell it, and the way Eric told me was, yeah, when you're playing, he hits a bad shot, and he takes the first club and he snaps it over his leg. So a couple holes later, hits another bad shot, snaps it over his leg, and he gets all the way to the 18. He snaps on 18. He misses the putt, and it's the only club he has left. He snaps the putter, and Eric goes, "Boy, my dad's really going to be mad." And I said, "Because of Robbie's temper?" And he goes, "No, they're my dad's clubs."
You know, to this day, I still can't remember what their conversation was after that. How did my brother tell my dad, "You don't have any clubs left"?
Oh, God.
Yeah,
I still don't.
It's
I still
simple.
can't
Hey,
remember.
Dad, your golf bag's in the garage. It's a lot lighter now.
The good news is you got a golf bag that has a lot of space.
Dude,
Yeah, you got plenty of room for new clubs.
I'm breaking the passenger side window in the car and reporting them stolen is what I'm doing.
You know, I love JV's solution. JV used to carry this old wooden 4-wood in his bag. He had a nice set of clubs, but he had this old 4-wood in his bag. And one time I go, "What's that club for?" And he goes, "Oh, it's in case I hit a bad shot." I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I don't want to hurt my good clubs." So he walks to his bag, gets the clubs out, and slams the club in the ground and throws it down the fairway. That was his temper club.
I'm telling you,
That's funny.
that game gets you, man. That golf game.
JV's got a stunt double.
There is nothing that will test your patience like golf. I'm telling
That's
you,
right.
nothing.
I never, ever remember you losing your temper at the races, ever.
I can only think of one, and it was in private with one other person. So I don't think that I ever did that. And I think I learned that as a child from my mother about keeping it together and not showing my ass, right? And because that's not going to get me anywhere, it's going to make me look really bad. So that's something
awesome.
I
was
learned.
going to ask you. I was going to ask you that because it doesn't seem like you ever like lost your head or got angry at somebody. I was going to say, you just answered it, but
well, there were times, but I wouldn't let anybody else see it.
Even when you were upset, because like there's a video that's circulating from a Kellogg's race over in England, and
that was about as angry as you'd ever see me right there.
Yeah, but you weren't angry. You were stating your point, which I don't equate that to angry, right? Like
you didn't see inside of my brain, did you?
No,
because I was losing my shit.
Yeah, but it's a testament to you, Eric. It's a testament it's a testament to you and your personality that you weren't, because you could have easily flipped out.
Yeah,
and you didn't. You stated your case, and you were very concise about why and why you believed that the call was wrong, and then you were like, well, like,
right. Well, another thing.
Way.
Because TV for us was kind of new back then, not every race was being recorded, right? And put on television, and there was no internet. But when there's a camera in your face, you better really mind your P's and Q's, right? Because everyone's going to see that. And that was another thing that helped me keep my act somewhat together. But I watched that video now, and then I watched the actual incident. I'm just like, we don't always make every call correctly, and sometimes we're wrong. It's just the way it goes.
Well, you handle yourself admirably in situations, right? Like, I mean, all of us have been taken out. All of us have been ran off the track. All of us have been slighted from a bad call. I don't ever remember you coming across the line and slamming into somebody, or being in an angry argument or something like that. You always have been the pro's pro in handling, just handling yourself, man. It's
well, I also think that this is kind of calculating and like a professional mindset, but if I ever let anybody see that I was upset or angry, guess what? They just got inside my head. So I
Yeah.
can't let them ever see that.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens out there, I'm just going to beat you next time. And I'm not going to say anything. I'll smile and shake your hand, but I'm
Yeah.
beating you next time. Because if I let you see that you've gotten to me, then you
Yeah.
win. And I didn't want to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Are you
Winning-
telling me that nobody ever got to you?
Oh, I'm not saying that at all, but I'm telling
Well,
you,
tell me who
they,
got to you.
well, who didn't get to me at one time or another, but I didn't let it show. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
just don't want them to see it, because then that gives them the upper hand. And it's just it's as much of a race strategy as how I'm going to take that next corner, you know? And I'm not going to give my competition the satisfaction of knowing they got under my skin somehow.
My dad would always tell me that too as well. He was like, why would you put fuel in their gas tank for them? Why would you give them a reason? Don't ever give them a reason to be
Right.
more motivated.
Right.
And
Was there anyone that would get to you consistently? Somebody that
No.
got under your skin? Was there anyone writer?
No, there was nobody that ever just bothered me on a regular basis. Never. It was always just a isolated incident type thing, and I would always be able to let it go. And I never harbored anything, and I didn't let this stuff build up inside of me. But you know, if something were to happen, then that day I'm in a bad mood that day, or they have gotten to me that day. But the next day, I'm good. I'm over it. You know, I
that's
don't.
awesome, dude. That's so awesome.
I don't think you were the kind of guy that getting you mad was going to make a difference. But I think I found the chink in your armor.
Which was
I think if you wanted to disrupt Eric's mental capacity on the racetrack, I think I figured it out. We were in Holland racing the European Championships at Pony Park, which was like a European version of Disneyland in the 80s. And Eric was just dominating, whooping everybody. And he and I were, when we would travel together, we would pit together. We would usually share rooms because we had similar personalities, and I think he is tied for the biggest practical joker in BMX. And so we're walking through the pits, and one of the booths they had in this Disneyland type thing was face painting. And I grabbed his arm and I stopped him. It was as we stopped, and I looked over and I go, "Come on, man, let's do this." And he was like, "Oh no, no!" I was like, "Yeah, come on." And he's like, "No, we can't." I go, "Yeah, we can." And he goes, "All right." So we went to the little kiddie face painting booth, the two AA pros, and we got our faces completely painted like clowns.
clown faces.
Total clown faces. We go back up to the next moto, and we have to race. And you know, Eric puts on, the cameras are going, people are laughing, and I thought, oh, I finally got him. And Eric he has to put on his whole mask, you know, his face mask to cover it.
Oakley goggles and mask, right?
Yeah, Oakley goggles and mask. And I have a Jofa, and I have mine unstrapped, and I'm the official and I are yelling at each other. I'm not putting it on. I don't want to mess up my stuff. And I think it was the only time I was ever able to beat him out of the gate and to the first turn. I think he ended up passing me, but at least I got him to the first turn because I had him distracted by all the clowning.
It really was a distraction, and it was so unexpected. And so, what am I doing? And here's the thing that I don't know if you remember. This was one of those special Mongoose contingency races where it didn't matter who you were. If you were riding a Mongoose bike and you won that race, there was a $10,000 bonus. And this is 1984. 10 grand is a lot, right? And so now I'm at this race. I really want to win this. And now he's gotten me to put this clown face on. And I'm like, what am I doing? And right away, my brain is like, over here, and the race is that way, and it didn't work out. And I remember being so mad at myself for letting him talk me into doing that. Oh my goodness.
You see?
I have pictures, like the 4x6 actual photographs
Wow.
of that. I have the pictures somewhere. I've seen them in the last year or so somewhere.
I got to
And
tell you,
it's us racing with
it's one
clown
of my
faces.
it's one of my proudest moments in BMX.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
goodness.
You may not be able to have fun like that today, you know?
Who would do that today?
Right.
Nobody.
It's just not,
Nobody.
it's not the same. Yeah.
Not that.
I know one guy that would.
It's just a different thing.
That's I you know, when they say about, you know, the pros of today, you know, I don't follow the pros closely. I just care about I only care about the local kids at my track.
Right.
But the pros today, I don't know if they have the same personalities that we had back then.
I can't say either because I don't know them personally enough to say yes or no. There's got to be some fun-loving, jokey, goofy guys that are super fast. There's got to be. But I don't know because I don't know any of them personally, you know.
There's got to be.
I just know they're really, really talented. I know that.
They are they are professional athletes.
Yeah.
100%. And you know, just watching the entire pro program from the current world championships that they just had at Rock Hill, those guys they're super fit, and these guys are serious. I mean, I don't think there's no way they could be having as much fun as we did. There's just no way. Okay, they're not having that much fun, but they sure are good.
There's no way that you could fly across the world to Paris, France, to a big race that's held inside of a stadium that's sold out just to watch BMX racing, and to talk your roommate to staying up all night long to pull practical jokes on all the other pros that are staying. But I got Eric Rupe to do it. We went down to the lobby and we got all the little postcards and all the little pamphlets. And then we went to every other pro's room and we shoved as many as we could under their doors. We leaned we leaned stuff on the door of their hotel room. We stayed up all night just goofing off. Once again, I'm not sure I'm a good influence on you.
Dude, that stadium is massive, dude. That stadium, I think it seats like close to 20 grand.
Yeah, 22,000,
Wow.
I think it was.
Yeah, but those are huge races.
Yep. But we had the best time, Eric.
Good times.
And that's why I got to ask you, how do you say 44 in French? You don't remember?
I don't.
There was a commercial that came on the television that played all night long. It was one of those that it was every third commercial was the same thing. And their phone number was 44, 44, 44. Cut on cut, cut on cut, cut on cut.
Now I'm remembering that. That's so weird. Wow.
And I loved it because we were in the stadium and all the French riders would come over, what gearing you running? And I would go, cut on cut.
And
they're like,
I don't know if I had, I don't even know if I had
French.
43-16 or 45-16, but that day,
Right.
cut on cut. Yes, cut on cut.
There you go. And he answered it just like that. That's awesome.
Oh,
I
my
remember staying in that hotel there when we were at that Bercy race. And I don't know, we had to be 12 floors up, and the shower had a little port window that would open and you could literally stick your head out, and the shower head was on a hose. So you could stick that out the window. I just remember thinking it was so funny, squirting people walking by, and you'd see them look up and they don't know where it's coming from. I mean, I'm thinking, wow, I don't think I would do that stuff today.
No, but I could talk.
Oh, my
I could talk him
goodness.
into doing it back then.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
it's
my goodness.
amazing.
Yeah.
I tell you what, on those trips, I look forward to staying with Eric because it was always a good time. You know, people don't realize that such a serious racer, a guy that really was top of the game, also had a great sense of humor, was always always up for a good time, and it was it was good, clean fun. We would laugh the whole time, and God, somehow, some way, he would find a way to still win.
Well, it was once they pull that gate up and you roll into it. I'm still this way today. Something clicks in my brain, and for the next minute, I'm super focused. Not that I wasn't focused before, but now I'm just hyper focused for just a minute. That's all it takes, right? And that's something I've always been able to do. I just remember when we were on that first Kellogg's trip in '84, and every town we're going to, and they loved you because you were the entertainer. People they were giving you applause everywhere you went, and you were, remember, doing those backflips for people, and people just loving that. And I always realized that if you're not so stone faced and serious, these people would like you a lot more, and I learned a lot of that from you, learning how to be more lighthearted with the people and make more fun of it. And for me, if I could have more fun away from the track, I'd have even more fun on the track. I put those two together, so that was part of it.
It's a good balance. You figured out a good balance, Eric. I mean, there's no doubt about that. You figured out how to get both of those things, the right things, because you are both of those things.
I
think
think I may have leaned a little bit one way too far.
you were a little off the chart
It's a
on the
little
one
off
side.
balance.
Yeah, it's my balance wasn't quite.
Yeah. I have to ask you because you are the true professional. Always kept your head, which I think we all can agree. I mean, we surprisingly never saw you. I never saw you get angry, and you yourself admit you won't. That was just how you were raised. You just wouldn't show that. And
Right.
and I've got to ask you this because recently this whole thing with Harry and Charlie, and that came up. And the reason I'm asking you is because I think a lot of people jumped on it because it was on video. They got quite angry at it pretty quickly. But you were the one that actually was to stick up for him and kind of like try and get everyone to calm down about it. And people have asked, have said, well, why would he stick his neck out like that? And multiple times. I mean, we talked about it on our show. Your name had come up,
Right.
like, wow, Eric really is, standing in front. Is there, other than just trying to stick up for a fellow BMXer, was there anything behind that?
Honestly, I think it's because I've known him for so long, and I know a lot of his history from way back till
Yeah.
now. I know where he's come from. I know what he's evolved into. And of course, we're always going to be who we are to some degree. But this is a different guy than so many people remember. And yes, an ugly moment came up, and because of his past, that one ugly moment turned into a big thing, which I still don't think it should have, but everybody was just so quick to put him up on the cross. It was crazy. And I just wanted to stick up for him because I know what he is today. I know how much he's changed. He's not perfect. He hasn't gotten rid of all his flaws, but he's so much better than he ever used to be. And he's so much more at peace as a person than he used to be. And I would have his back in a second. And I would do that for anybody who I saw trying to make their way through the shit in life and trying to be better. And yeah, you're going to drop the ball every once in a while. But I was just letting him know and everybody else know that, if that was you, wouldn't you want somebody having your back? And that's kind of how I felt about it. And he and I spoke about it. He was appreciative that I stood up for him. And it wasn't anything to me. I didn't think it was a big deal that I was standing up for him. I just was doing what I thought was right, So.
Oh, okay, boys, if we ever get arrested, we know who to call first.
That's right.
Exactly.
Keep
You need
that cell
somebody to
number
have
on your
your back?
phone right there, man. Keep it right there.
So on to something a little more fun, dude. Tell me a little bit about your days with SE. How was that, man? Because SE always seems to be this wild team, wild stories, crazy time, and it doesn't seem like that's really who you are as a person. But were you? How was that for you?
Hold on, hold on. Hold on, time out. You're right. You see, that's when you look at like Schwinn, clean cut American, and then
Right.
Mongoose, you know, the again the clean cut, and then you're on SE.
Yeah.
Great point. Great point.
Yeah. Actually, this is pretty good.
Okay, well, here's how this started. My brother and I were with Schwinn for years, and I had finished the 1980 NBL pro season. I finished number 2. We were living in Mobile, Alabama at the time, and they just, for some reason, they just wanted to go in a different direction, didn't need us anymore. And I was just like, I miss getting number 1 pro by 1 spot, right? And now you don't want me anymore. And boy, that was really hard to take. That was gut wrenching for me. And my brother and I raced the Jag World Championships with no sponsor. Went up there paying our own money to race that. I made the pro main. I made the pro open main. No sponsor, no stickers on my bikes at all. Just doing my thing. And right out of the blue, Scott Breithaupt calls. And I knew Scott not too well, but I did know him. And he wanted to know if me and my brother wanted to ride for him. And we had nothing going on at the time. And I was like, okay, deal. You know, there wasn't too much convincing having to be done there. And then I got to know Scott really well. And the whole edge of SE was because Scott was an edgy guy, and he was an innovator, and he was adventurous, and he was fun, and he was wild. Okay.
Yeah.
And we got along really well. And I got to tell you, I 100% owe most of my professionalism and my on-camera professionalism to Scott Breithaupt, because he taught me so much about how to act at the track, how to be a professional, how to represent your sponsors, how to talk to the camera. He taught me all that. And
Wow.
I was only on that team for less than a year. But I owe him greatly for that. And it was a great time. And, you know, Perry was on the team. We had a great time traveling with Perry.
How do you not have a great time with PK Ripper?
Such a funny story about Perry. Anyway, so just being on SE, it didn't last. It wasn't even a year. It probably went from like February, maybe late January, and I was done by November. But that was one good year. And that was the very first year that either ABA or NBL ever had a team title, and it was just pros. NBL did it. It was just pros, okay? And SE won the pro team title, and every point scored except for 1 point was scored by me. So that's one of my proudest accomplishments. They would give team points for first, second, and third. And my brother had gotten a third at one race and gotten whatever the points were for that. Every other team point I scored that summer. And we won the team title. And Scott was he made an advertisement about it and everything. The SE was the #1 team. And I never told anybody that, but in my head, I was like, I fucking did that almost all by myself.
Somewhere
I
there's
mean,
a
because
because
Redline had several pros, Mongoose had several pros, and SE was me, my brother, and Perry. And I got it done. And although I will tell you this, without those couple of points that my brother earned, we wouldn't have won it. So I didn't do it all.
Way to go, Robbie. Way to go, Robbie.
Good.
For the team, baby.
Yeah, hey, without him, we couldn't have done it. That's a fact.
JV, you gotta add that to the Wikipedia, bro.
I gotta put that in there. Wait, can you go back and can you tell us the PK story?
Yeah,
absolutely. It's not a very long one. I'll tell you exactly where it happened. We were in Howell, New Jersey, and back in those days, it was no surprise. This was 1981. So, and it was no surprise for 5, 6 people to all be shoved in one hotel room, right? And you'd have to decide who was going to get to sleep in the bed. 2 guys shared a bed, right? The other guys had to sleep on the floor. And
Two?
I'm not
Well,
joking.
okay, two guys to a bed. Oh, you guys were factory.
So my brother comes out of the shower and he's getting ready to jump in the bed, and PK's under the covers naked. My brother's like, dude, I'm not getting in that bed with you until you put some clothes on. And I'll never forget the way he said this. Oh man, I'm not gonna touch you. And he was stone cold serious, like, just get in the bed. And my brother's like, dude, I'm not sleeping with a naked dude.
Oh man, I'm not
Like
gonna
it was-
touch you.
Like it was no big deal. I'll never forget that. My goodness.
Hey, hold the gate, Mr. Starter. We're going to take a short break and play a few new commercials. We're also going to tell you that we're going to announce the dates to the Dirty Fest 3. Oh, that's going to come out August the 2nd, Friday night. We're going to drop the bomb, let you guys know when, where, all the details for Dirty Fest 3. Finally, hey man, subscribe, like, do all that business. Helps us out. Yeah, buddy. Enjoy the rest of the show. Make sure you stick around for the outtakes at the very end. Tell them, JV.
Hey everybody, John Salami here. Listen, October 5th is going to be monumentous. Here's why. We're having the first ever Northeast Vintage BMX Festival at Central Jersey BMX in Howell, New Jersey. You guys have all been to Howell. Listen, you've been to Dirty Fest, you've been to the Texas Jam, you've been to Frogtown, but listen, this is going to be the East Coast first. And here's what's special. We got tons of events going on at the festival. We got an exhibitors row with Robert Lane presenting for the first time ever on the East Coast, the Red Line BMX Museum. We got a vintage bike show. We got a raffle. We got a foot down comp. We got old school BMX clinic. That's kind of cool. And special guests, including. So come on down to Central Jersey BMX in Howell, October 5th, 2024. It's free. And you can meet all the pioneers and superheroes that you grew up with in New Jersey. And after this, check this out. When the festival's all over, it's the first ever inaugural New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame ceremonies. That's going to be at the Battleground Country Club in Manalapan. Tickets are $90 a plate. Tables are $12. You can get a table if you like, or you can just show up and intermingle with all the pioneers and superstars that you grew up watching in New Jersey. So listen, East Coast, we got a voice now. We got a festival in the day, and we got our New Jersey inaugural BMX Hall of Fame at night. That's at the Battleground Country Club in Manalapan. So follow us at BMX Legend Society on Facebook or the New Jersey BMX Hall of Fame on Facebook for all the information. Guys, don't want to miss this. It's going to be awesome. Come on, Jersey, let's do it.
Our mission is to grow the sport at the local level. We've reached out to TOs across the country to say, what is your need to better reach new riders, both young and old? And we've put a financial number to that to make it easier for sponsors and donors to jump in and say, I got this one. You can check out our website, bmxbreakthrough.com. Reach out to me directly, j@bmxbreakthrough.com. We've got our social media at BMX Breakthrough. We've got the podcast as well. Thank you so much for your support, and let's get more kids and adults on bikes.
Guys, you're watching the Dirty Knob Podcast with Mike Miranda, Eric Carter, Jim Pasante. What the heck? Are you enjoying the show? Well, hey, take a minute, stop, pause, go to your computer, torquerracing.com. You know what you want to do, torquerracing.com. Check it out. You're going to check out the new Pro X frames. You're going to check out the EK frames. You're going to check out the Barbarians. You're going to see the new Torquer shirts. You're going to see the pads. You're going to see all the new stuff. Go to torquerracing.com.
All right, Dirty Fest fans, get ready. September 27th through the 29th of this year, 2024, we'll be honoring Brian Blyther, Ron Wilkerson, and Dave Nory at the Old School BMX Reunion at Woodward West, Tehachapi, California. That's my dog Coco barking in the back, and we got Harley over here also. But the Old School BMX Reunion is what, Brian?
It is the oldest running annual BMX event that is going on. It lasts longer than my marriage and most marriages out there.
That's right.
So,
14
long
years. 14 years. So anyways, Mike Miranda was kind enough to allow us to have some freestyle at the Dirty Fest #2. This is going to be our 14th annual OSBMXR. We've honored people like Bob Harrow, Mike Buff, R.L. Osborne, oh, you name it, Mike Dominguez, Eddie Fiola. Now we're going to be honoring Brian Blyther. We're going to be giving away Oakley grips. Come on down. You got to come and see us. Go to our website at www.osbmxr.com and sign up now.
Woodward, lots of bowls, lots of ramps, lots of dirt jumps.
And just so you know,
fun stuff to do.
We're freestylers, not racers. So it's not going to be come in your cleanest, nicest bikes. We're going to be drinking some beers. Right, Brian?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
There we go. Woo! Woo! See you at the old school reunion.
Yes, we will.
Let her rip.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, everybody. Holly Dunn here, Factory Taco Tuesday, Factory Ghetto Wear Team Rider. Just wanted to share some new information, some new products we have coming out with Ghetto Wear. We will be coming out with some new stickers, some new sticker packs, t-shirts. We've got a whole new line of t-shirts coming out. We have got some patches. We are in the lines of creating some new gear bags. Mine is full of stickers that are falling everywhere. I don't have any gears, but that's what this is for. We have a lot of different styles of hats. This one, I've got the one on here. So a lot of great things in the works for Ghetto Wear. We do ask sales@ghettowear.com. We also have a Ghetto Wear Facebook page. You can DM Prince, myself, or Brian Fell at any time. You can also DM me on my Facebook page. I have brochures, stickers, sticker packs to give out. Anybody that is looking for any. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you from Factory Ghetto Wear. Please hit us up and we will get that new product out soon.
Yeah, Holly Dunn.
Yay! Ghetto Wear.
Think about this. For the length of your career, you really didn't ride for that many teams. You didn't jump around a lot.
No.
And I think about Schwinn. It was you, your brother, Kevin Jackson.
No.
Oh.
The original Swin team is me, my brother, Bob Hadley, and Chuck Hood. We were the first four that Russell Kawa picked. And that happened because Schwinn went to Ernie Alexander at the NBA and said, we want to make a factory team. Well, the best guy to run teams at the time that Ernie knew of was Russell Kawa. He had successful bike shop teams in the past. His current team was us four. And so this is God's intervention. We go from this bike shop team to all of a sudden the first full factory team in the sport. And when I say that, I mean, I'm talking everything is paid for. You don't spend a dime once you walk out of your house. And I can't even tell you what a blessing that was. And we just took this bike shop team, turned it into a factory team, and the rest is history. It was incredible. Wow. That's how that happened. So a lot of other guys came along after that. There was Kevin Jackson, Mark Pippin, Ted Gilmet, Mark Driscoll, Mike Polson. A lot of guys came along after that. But the first original four was me, Hadley, my brother, and Chuck Hood.
But those guys you mentioned were on the team with you when you were on Schwinn.
Yes, all those guys were my teammates at one point. So I was teammates with a lot of guys because I did Schwinn from 77 until the end of 80. So that was 4 straight years. Okay. And there was a bunch of different guys on that team. I left out Donnie Atherton. He was also on there. And yeah, there haven't been a whole lot of teams. It was Schwinn, SE, and then Mongoose.
Hold on,
That-
hold on. SC, we
yeah.
know the lineup. It was only 3.
Well, Scott rode sometimes still, and I don't think Rod got on the team till after we already left. So it was just me, Perry, and my brother, and then Scott from time to time. There was a couple local guys around the country that were pretty good, but not any other top pros. Yeah.
And then you went on to Mongoose.
Which again, that happened. That's a sad story, and I feel bad for Scott because of it, but it was Scott's fault. Even though I still feel bad for him, it was his own doing. So that the end of the summer has happened with SE, and there's a lot of expenses that haven't been paid yet. And that was kind of one of Scott's thing of being a little flaky and late with things like that. And so, there's no computer, there's no cell phones, there's no pagers. You're calling me at home or I'm calling you at the office. Otherwise, you're not getting a hold of each other, right? And so I'm trying to get a hold of Scott because this is right when I had decided I was going to do the Air Force thing, right? So I'm quitting BMX and I'm going Air Force full time. I just signed up for 6 years. I've already taken my physical. I've got my plane ticket. I'm headed to boot camp, right? So the SE thing's going to be over. Well, right out of the blue, I get a phone call from Russell at Mongoose. They want to sponsor me. Well, that's my dream team since I was little, right? How can I pass this up? So long story short, I get out of going into the Air Force. Now I got to tell Scott that I'm not doing the Air Force thing anymore. Mongoose wants me to ride for them. They're going to actually pay me pretty good money. I just got to tell Scott, right, that I'm doing this because I know he's not going to pay me what they're going to pay me. And he owes me a lot of money anyway. So this is not looking real good. So I must have called 4 or 5 times, leaving messages. Whoever's at I don't even remember, but please tell him to call me. I need to talk to him. He thinks I'm only wanting my money. It's not that. I need to tell him I'm moving on. I got a big deal. I can't even get a hold of him. He won't call me back. Well, the next race coming up is the Knott's Berry Farm race, and it's going to be big. So I fly out to California. Now, mind you, at SE, I didn't have a contract. It was all just a handshake and his word and my word. That's all it was. And so I get out to California. I do the whole Mongoose thing and, going through their warehouse with shopping carts and doing all that. It was awesome. And so now we're at Knott's Berry Farm for pro practice, and I'm doing my first lap of pro practice. I'm in a full Mongoose thing. It's already done up with my name on it and everything. I got a brand new bike, and he's standing on top of the second turn. And as I ride by, he goes, "Nice uniform." That's all he said to me. Okay. So I go around the track. Now I can't find him anywhere. Okay. And if you don't see the person at the facility, how are you going to find him, right? There's no, like I said, you can't text him. You can't page him. Nobody knows where he is. Anyway, so that whole weekend goes by. I only see him at a distance a couple times. He won't talk to me now. He's mad at me, right? So the next weekend, or maybe 2 weeks later, but I think it was the next weekend, was the NBA Grands at Long Beach. And it was sponsored by SE. Now he's there, and now we have this heart-to-heart on the infield. Ended up hugging it out. I told him the whole situation. He apologized for not getting back to me, and now he promised that he would get me those expenses that he owed me, and everything was fine after that. And we were probably closer after that than ever before. So everything worked out just fine. But he was a little disappointed, but it was kind of his fault for not calling me back.
Right.
I gave him a chance, right? So that whole Mongoose thing only lasted 13 months. So all of 82, and we had 7 top pros on Mongoose at the time. And there were no, well, I won't say no. Ken Amon was our only amateur at the time. There were a couple of other regional Mongoose riders, but Ken Amon was like, it was a pro team. It really was. And Ken was still racing expert. but that only lasted, like I said, 13 months. And Skip Hess, he was paying all of our bills, so he didn't want us having any co-sponsors, because why are their names going on our jersey when he's paying for everything? Which I totally get. Okay. So he's like, look, you guys can't have any co-sponsors at all. It's Mongoose and that's it, because I'm paying the bills. So I get an opportunity to ride for Profile. They're going to pay me what Mongoose was paying me, and I can have all the co-sponsors I want. I got to go, Skip. I got to go, right? And I felt bad about leaving because he was such a great guy and he was so good to everyone. Here's how good this guy was as a sponsor. If you got a speeding ticket in your car, he would pay for it. That's how cool he was.
No
Anyway,
way.
so
Wow.
yes, it was that good. So I felt bad for leaving that team. But I mean, I was just about to get married, and you're going to throw that much money at me. I'm about to have a wife and a family and do all, I got to have more money, you know? And he understood. We had a sit down in his office about where I was going, what I was doing, and why. And he totally understood. You know, he's going to keep his 6 other pros. They're not going to have their co-sponsors, but I'm going to go and do my thing, whatever. So even that only lasted 1 year, because now Skip wants to get rid of all those guys. He wants to bring me back, because I got #1 pro that year riding for Profile. And Skip wants me back, wants me to be the pro, and I can have all the sponsors I want. Well, now he's going to double what he was paying me before, and Profile can't keep up with that. And I felt bad for leaving Jim and Nancy Alley behind. But again, you're going to double my salary. I got a wife and kids now. I have to go, right? So that's kind of how it all happened. And then that time on Mongoose, that was beginning of '84. That lasted almost 7 years. So
that was a long.
That was a long one. And
that
I
was a
actually
long
thought
time.
I actually thought Profile was longer when I was reading the thing. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it was only a year.
It
maybe.
started March of '83 and it was over in December.
Yeah.
That's how quick. But
Wow.
because I got so much magazine coverage for Profile, it just seemed like it was a longer time than it was, right? Because you know, with no internet and no nothing except the actual glossy magazines, that's the only thing you were seeing about BMX. And there would hardly be a magazine that
and to win the national #1 pro title. I mean, of course you're going to get a bunch of coverage.
It was a very big deal. And for a long time, it was like there wouldn't be a magazine that would come out that I wasn't in. And if there was, if I didn't see my picture, I'd be disappointed. That's how good it was getting, you know? And so that's why that Profile stint seemed like it lasted longer, but it really was only like 9 months. And then that next Profile Mongoose gig was like 7 years. And that was good, you know, and even that got sour after a while, and that changed. And just because new people come in and new people have ideas and new people are running the program, and they got a better way, a better mousetrap, right? And so I've always been blessed enough to find it when one door's hit me in the ass, another one's opening up so I can fall right through it, you know?
Well, in that heyday, from Schwinn, SE, Mongoose, Profile, you rode for classic teams with a lot of great people. Did you have a favorite teammate?
I won't say a favorite, because I loved being with all those guys.
Well, tell us some of your favorites then. I know who I think. I mean, on Profile, you were with Judd Ciencio. So it goes without saying.
Well,
we love Judd.
we give Judd a hard time.
We'd love to give Judd a hard time. He's our boy. Well, there's no doubt to me, in my mind, EC, don't you agree that if Judd threw a leg over a BMX bike today, he'd be just as competitive?
Yeah, he's one of the most competitive guys ever. And he would be, knowing how Judd is, he would train again, he would get fast again, and he would be in the mix and winning nationals again. That's how, I mean, that's what he was doing when he came back in the older amateur cruiser classes. So yeah, I have
Right.
no doubt.
I don't doubt for a minute he'd make the terrible 11 if he came back.
He's he's good. The thing that really got Judd the most mad was, when they announced his name and they couldn't announce his name right. That is
I think BA called him Judd Cincio.
Yep. And he was so mad and so bitter about that, because he's like, how many years have I been coming to these races, and how many years has he been sponsoring this shit, and you don't know my goddamn name? What the hell's wrong with, like, dude?
Well,
he was,
and so
And that conversation right there, EC, that conversation was in the starting gate.
exactly.
and this is exactly what I'm talking about. I'll just tell you a quick little story which puts this in perfect perspective. He's on the gate and he hears that, and it fucks with his head, and he doesn't win. Okay.
Yep.
So a couple of years, that was in what, 15, maybe 2015. So in 2013, 2 years earlier, I'm racing amateur. It's not pro. It's not as pressure packed, but it's still a main event. You're still at the Grands and you still want to win. So there's still pressure. Okay. They announce every guy on the gate, and there's 3 of us on the gate, me, Todd Perry, and George Goodall. Whoever wins is going to be number 1 for the year. And I'm out in lane 7, and those guys are down in 2 and 3, something like that. And my brain just works differently, I guess, because I'm like this, right? And they're announcing all the names, and I am just super focused. And I can't tell you how many times I've watched this race, but I get out of the gate, I run a good lap, I win the race. It's all great. Todd's not happy. But I watched the thing on video, and they're announcing everybody's name, and the announcer gets my name wrong, and I never heard it, ever. And they're announcing everybody's name, and everybody's putting their hand up, doing all this. I am just so, you can watch the video. I've seen it. I'm so focused. I don't even hear him mispronounce my name. And I'm thinking, as much as I've been racing and as much as I've ever accomplished, they're getting every name right except for mine. And I don't, to this day, I don't even know who that announcer was, but he didn't get my name right. But I never heard it. I never heard it because I wasn't listening to that. I was focused, right?
Awesome.
So I bet he was French and he called you Rupe.
Made it fancy.
That's funny because sometimes I tell people that my name is French and it's pronounced Rupe, just as a joke. Just to mess with them. But anyway, we were talking about teammates, and I got to tell you, I bet I have more than this many former teammates that are in the Hall of Fame. That's how blessed I've been to be on teams with great racers. Okay. And from the time I was on my very first big team, which was that Schwinn team, my brother's in the Hall of Fame, Hadley's in the Hall of Fame. And then just every team I've been on, there's a Hall of Famer on it somewhere. And so I really have gotten along with everybody. I think the person I was probably closest with while we were traveling was Ken Amon, because we were close to the same age and we were always traveling together. And that was that long from 84 to the end of 90. That was all Mongoose, and Ken was there the whole time. So we probably spent the most time together. But I mean, and then my vet pro racing, all the teams I was on as a vet, from Park Pre to Mongoose to GT, imagine the guys. There's 10 Hall of Famers right on those teams. So it's just been nothing but blessings, one after the other for me, as far as being put with great people. But I also think I've had an effect on a lot of those guys and helped them to be more professional, help them to make traveling easier, to make this whole racing experience, as John Pearce used to put it, keep it simple. And that was what our goal always was, is to, if you can make the outside surroundings simple, the racing becomes easier. And we're all there to race, that's the thing. So it was just, hopefully I was able to teach those guys some things, as well as have a good time with them and show them a thing or two.
Well, JV and I have talked before about Kenny Amon. We absolutely love the guy. He
Mhm.
is just such a sweetheart of a human being. Great guy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
regular
Poor
dude.
choice in cars.
I don't know. I don't know that what you're referring to. I just know
Oh
he
my
rides a
gosh.
motorcycle a
For
lot.
years, he used to brag about his vet. Oh yeah, I
Oh
drive a
boy.
vet. Yeah, I have a vet.
Oh, a shove that. It's a shove
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, one day we invite him to come. JV invites him to come riding in Nutley in New Jersey, and he comes down to ride with the trails, and he shows up in his vet, Chevette.
Chevette.
I forgot that he used to call it his vet. I remember
Yeah, I got a
that
vet.
now.
I drive a vet. Yeah, it's a sweet vet. It's yellow, high performance yellow vet. Yes.
That was
Of
That's
course
pretty
it
very
was
funny.
yellow.
funny.
They're all yellow.
Yeah. So and JV and I have had the pleasure of becoming friends with a number of your teammates.
Speaking of teammates, I was also teammates with Bob Woods on Mongoose, and he got elected into the Hall of Fame this year. So I'm super stoked for him.
Yeah.
Congrats to our good friend. He was on the
Yeah.
show just a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Our good friend Bobby Woods. We're so proud of him.
And he definitely got my vote. I sent him a message on Facebook and told him that it's long overdue, and I was proud of him. And I mean, heck, the guy was world champion back in '79.
Deserved to be in there
Yeah,
long time
yeah.
ago. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and as soon as his check cleared, we got, he sent us a check. As soon as that, we voted for him. It was great. You know, we love
There
him.
you go. As soon as the check clears, you're all good.
Yeah.
Right.
Rodney Cooper.
Hot Rod.
I
Hot
got a
Rod Rodney
horrible
Cooper.
I got a horrible story about Rodney Cooper, and I feel bad about it to this day.
Tell
You want to
it.
hear it? You want to hear
Yeah,
it?
of course.
Why do you do? No, we have a podcast. We don't want to hear
Yeah,
this kind
we
of
don't
story.
talk about these things.
So we're at the ESPN Pro Series race in Pennsylvania. It's the
Johnstown.
day
I
Johnstown,
remember that one.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
With the
And-
waterfall.
Yeah, with that crappy ass starting gate, and it's pro practice, and you know there was always an amateur or two trying to sneak into pro practice. Well, people don't realize today what a big deal that would be. Why is that a big deal if an amateur gets in pro practice? Well, if you guys remember, and I'm sure you do, back then practice was important because every track you went to, the gate was tricky to figure out, and they were never the same. These guys today have it so easy. Every gate's the same. Every gate falls the same. The cadence is the same. The gates are the same. They're all air rams and all that. Every track we went to, different lights, different horns, different sequences, different everything. So you needed every opportunity to get as many gates as you can. So when some squirrely 15-year-old kid is sneaking into pro practice, you're gonna not get on.
Yeah,
You're-
JV.
You're not getting on that gate because he's in front of you. Well, this is, I don't lose my cool too often, but I've asked him to not be in this practice because he's going to get somebody angry. He's just ignoring me, and he's being a little snotty 15-year-old, right? So he's on the gate and I hold his back tire. And he flips over and gets hurt. And I feel, to this day, I feel bad about that. I wish I could have gotten him out of pro practice more professionally than that, but I decided to hold his tire, and I'm not sure that he's going to get hurt, but he did. Now I feel bad about it. So anyway,
you should have taken the Eddie King route.
Wait, who was he? Was a factory kid?
Oh yeah,
it was Rodney Cooper. He rode for Huffy. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You should have taken the Eddie King route like you did to JV. He had told JV, and JV didn't get out of practice, so he got in the gate with him. And
he didn't tell me to get out of practice.
And
He
so
just stuffed me in the tire.
He stuffed him into the tires and made him wreck.
So a funny story is, as far as amateurs in pro practice, we're in Florida one time, and it's pro practice on a hot April or May day. Everybody's sweating, and you know, it's B pros and A pros, but you don't know who's B pro or not. Some amateur gets in there, you don't know if he's pro or not. So my brother's like, you know, he's got a little temper and he doesn't take crap from anybody.
I'm
And-
sorry, your brother has a temper?
What? Who? And so and you know, we're all wearing open face helmets, right? Well, this dude's got a full face helmet. My brother grabs him right by the helmet, twists it, and he's like, "This is pro practice. If you come back here, I'm gonna punch you right in the nose." And he's like really mad. And the dude's like, "I am a pro."
Who was it?
I can't remember his name, but the dude was a pro. And here's my brother threatening him with violence.
He retired after that, the kid.
He's like, "I'm never getting on the gate with that Rupe guy again. He's a monster."
That's so funny, man.
Oh man, I am a pro.
Oh man.
I don't remember the guy's name, but it's a true story for sure.
Do you remember a gate? Is there one gate that sticks out? There is in mine. Is there one gate that sticks out in your mind that gave you troubles? It was just so different.
Azusa. Hated it.
Old Azusa or the new Azusa?
Old. With the yellow gate. Under the bridge. I mean, under
Oh,
that
that's
big...
the second.
That
That's
gate is-
Azusa number 2.
Okay,
Oh.
well, that's the one I just could not get out of. I don't know. Brian and Brent had that thing down, and I just couldn't figure it out.
It was the
There-
flattest drawbridge dropping gate.
Yeah, and it
Ever.
felt like this. It felt like this, like that.
was-
It did not just go right.
No.
There's a
it-
full page color picture circulating. It's Brian and Brent and Tooney and me and Beckering, and it's like a main event, and we're
Yep.
all coming out, and you can see Brian and Brent are just nailing it.
Yeah.
And I'm down there somewhere struggling. I think Toby's in there also, but I don't know if I ever whole shot it one moto at that track. I just couldn't figure that gate out.
Yeah.
JV,
And
is there a
this
gate
is-
that comes to your mind?
There was another slow one. I can't remember if it was like North Park or Ohio. There was a really slow. Do you know which one it was?
I know which one. For me was the one it just dropped. It was so tall and was so slow.
Yeah,
I
the cadence was
struggled
slow.
with it.
Yeah, the cadence. I just remember the cadence was like.
You see, do you know which one I'm talking about?
I'm
Um,
trying to guess.
I know the horns went.
It was slow, so slow. Yeah, was that Ohio? Was that
You-
like
To
Akron?
get
or
it,
something?
it was in a big park, and you drove in from up on a hill. You drove in
Yeah.
down into the valley where the track was,
Was it
and
Fort
as soon as
Wayne?
you entered the valley, all you would hear was.
It was so.
Was it Fort Wayne?
Evansville,
Evansville.
I was gonna say Fort
Oh,
Wayne. I knew it was
Evansville,
in
Indiana.
Yep.
Yes.
Hated that gate.
Yep. Same.
Evansville.
I was gonna say Fort Wayne. It's the same gate that for me, that gate and Norco Y. I
Oh,
struggled.
I mean, those are polar opposites.
Yeah, Norco Y was so steep it freaked me out. You would skid into the gate.
Into your lane,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, if you didn't put your brakes on as you skidded into the
You
gate,
flip.
you would flip right over.
Yes, it was
And
that.
kids
slow.
did it. Kids flipped over the gate.
If you watch, there's some 1982 NBL Grands videos circulating around out there, but it was 5 horns and they were this slow. Bam, 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 bam. 5 of them that slow, and the gate is only 10 inches tall, you know, and then no wonder why we had issues with people jumping the gate. Those horns were so slow,
Testing the
terrible.
patience.
So
Yeah.
a guy at the track last week was asking me, he's like, how come back in your guys' day, how come so many guys could win? And today it seems like it's the same guys winning everything in pro. It's the same guys. And I tell him this, it's
Yep.
because the gates are the same. They're
Yep.
all getting out of the same gate, and the good guys keep getting out of the gate the same because they got it figured out. But
True.
in our day, you could win everything on Saturday and you are a superstar, and Sunday you didn't get out of the motos because you went to another track and it was a different gate. You couldn't figure it out.
Hey,
That is a
and
really
Yeah.
dude, Eric. That is a really, really, really good point, dude. That is, and I never really considered that, how sterilized the
The
that
gate start has become. It really is. And now
and the
it's
track stuff
so
too.
Yeah, and home track advantage because the tracks were, I mean,
They were-
so different.
they were all different. Now every track's the same. The turns are all blacktop or sealed, and the gate's the same. They fall the same. They all have air rams, and I'm not saying it's bad, but it's all so cookie cutter that the same guys have got it figured out. It's not giving anybody else a chance to win. You go to a track where the gate falls different, the cadence different, the horns are different, and the guy who won yesterday at that track is not even getting out of the motos today at this track. That's the way
so
it used to
true.
be.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so true, man. And actually, that's a really, really fantastic point, man. And it's, like you can probably be up to speed on your second or third lap at
Yeah.
any given national, right?
Yep.
I mean, I'm assuming I don't race in. I know.
No, I'm telling you, these guys today on these tracks, they're hot lapping it on lap 2
Yeah,
because their track's the same at home.
exactly.
All you did was move it to a different state.
I
you know?
understand there's some guys that don't even show up until the second moto.
So when
I turn on the television, I'm gonna
listen,
cheer for my buddy Eric Rupe, and I go, "Oh, he's nice.
he's
Where
still
is
in
this
bed.
guy? Slacker.
He's watching cartoons at the Holiday Inn.
He's probably getting his face painted."
Yeah, right.
But you're right. Remember,
So when I
you used to.
reclassified,
Yeah, go ahead.
when I reclassified to race amateur in 2011, that's the thing I said. Well, if I don't have to be racing in the morning, why should I be? If I don't have to, it's. I'm not saying the guys aren't fast, but if I'm confident enough that I'll make it,
I'm saying, how about the
in
set of
one
balls
try.
on that guy? Doesn't even race the first race.
Well, and now it's been 13 years that I've been skipping first round.
Have you
And
ever not made it?
I've never not made it, but it has bitten me in the ass once. And this is when we had total points and every lap counts. And this is what happened. We race on Friday. Okay, it's a 3-day race. We race Friday. There's no class for me, so they put me in the younger guys class. We got 15 guys. We got semis. I ended up winning that. That's fine. The next day, it's going to be the same thing, right? No. I show up at the track and they're like, "You missed first round." I said, "What do you mean?" Well, somebody had signed up, which now made my class 3 guys, and now it's total points, and I missed the first round. So what do? Now you've got 4 points.
Yeah.
The guy who won the first round has 1. He gets second the next 2 times. He's only ending up with 5. The best you can do is 6.
You got to take.
That's the one time I didn't win, and it bit me in the ass.
You got to take each of them out in the next 2 motos.
EC's thinking is right on.
So listen, let me tell you.
Down.
Here's a funnier story. Okay, that's the time it bit me in the ass, and I didn't win. It did happen another time, same situation, right? One day we got a class, the next day we don't. So I missed the first round, and I'm like, crap. Turns out somebody signed up a ghost rider. And you know what that is.
Yeah.
Somebody got signed up. He's not even at the race, but somebody signed him up. So we would have a class. And I would get taken out of that class and put in my own class. Somebody in that other class did that. Okay. So now I've missed my first round. There's only 1 guy on the gate in the first round because the ghost rider is not even in town and I'm at the hotel. Okay. So
how'd he do?
Hold on. This is a great story. It's a great story. So second round comes. Now it's me and the other guy. Well, I win and he gets second and there is no third place guy. So now this guy's got 3 points and I've got 5. There's no way I can beat him. We are riding around warming up before 3rd round, which is during the mains. He and I are riding around talking. I already know I've lost. All he has to do is walk around the track behind me and he's going to win. I go into staging. I get up behind the gate. He's not there. I'm like, wait a minute. I was just with him 3 minutes ago. And we're looking around. This is at Rockford, 2019. And Ron Jones is running the gate. And he's like, what's going on, Eric? I said, I don't know. There was another guy. He was just here. And he goes, well, we got to go. I said, well, he was just here. And he goes, well, I'm running it. If you're getting on the gate, you better. I get in the gate. I go. As I get to the finish line, he's coming down the finish exit to the finish line going, what happened? I said, dude, where were you? And he goes, I thought we were moto number such and such, which was our moto number. But when you run your 3rd moto in the mains, now you have a main number. And he just was confused. And he was back there in staging waiting for moto 87 when our main number was 45 or something.
Oh my gosh.
And so the only way I could have won is if he missed that 3rd round, and he missed it.
Wow. But in NBL, if you miss the gate,
you're
you got
done.
a DNS. Yeah, it didn't even matter.
Now
Yeah.
they
This
did
reminds
change
me
that
of
rule.
an
Listen, hold on, wait. I'll tell you another story. Hold on. They did change that rule, but in NBL, if you missed a moto, you were done. It didn't matter if you won the next 2, you're not making it. Okay.
Right.
They did change that rule, and then they made it last place plus 2 points. They changed it to that. So there would still be a snowball's chance in hell, maybe, but at least you weren't done.
You can race
sure.
at least. Yeah, at least you can race the 2 motos and maybe.
Well, you could still race the 2, even if you missed, you're done, but you could still race.
Yeah, you can mess the other guy up.
So,
That's right.
True story, 84 World Cup, biggest purse.
Nope. 1985 World Cup.
A 1985 World Cup. I stand erected. So 84, one of you guys there won that race and I got 4th. So that's how he remembers that. 85 World Cup. We're late at the hotel. For everything that morning led to this moment of being late and missing. I was in race 1. And it was the day they got rained out on Saturday and had to run it all on Sunday. Their first gate dropped 7 a.m. Well, who cares if they dropped it 2 minutes earlier? I wasn't making that race anyway. We were still parking the car when I heard the gate fall, so I wasn't making it anyway. So
I was behind in the street behind the gate, riding up and down, warming my legs up, and I had my Swatch watch on. I was looking. I go, okay, well, I got 3 minutes.
Right.
So I'm going up and down, and I start riding towards the gate, and I hear honk, 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 bam.
Right. Unreal.
They started the race 2 minutes early.
Well, even still, I mean, this is how unprofessional that move was on their behalf. This is the biggest pro purse of the year.
Yeah.
Pros are their big thing that they're highlighting. And you're not going to make sure that all your pros are there. You know you're getting some crazy early start, and you're not going to make an extra effort to make sure all your pros are there, especially your current number 1 pro. He's in race 1. He's not on the gate, and you're not going to double check and see why he's missing.
And he's racing against the defending champion.
And you're going to run it early? What? Anyway, so Sean Texas and I missed our motos that morning. He was one of them. I remember him.
It was the 3 of us. And Sean lost his mind.
In tears. Lost his mind in tears.
Giant guy just crying.
So here's what is the most impressive about that. He won that Pro Cruiser main that day, which was the same purse as the 20-inch. I think I made the cruiser main and got like 6th, but my whole day was shot because I was angry and upset all day for missing the first moto.
I rode down to the tower and talked to Bob, not Tedesco, the other gentleman with the beard, had it come out, and I just kept asking him, what time's your watch say? What time's your watch say?
Jim Banks. Yeah.
Jim Banks, that's right. I kept saying, what time's your watch say? And he said, well, it's 7 o'clock. And I go, you're on Moto 4.
Right.
That was my point. I go, listen, I get it, but what does your watch say? Anyway,
Yeah,
devastating. I bet you once a year I wake up in a cold sweat screaming because of that.
Do you know
Wow.
that I have 2 reoccurring dreams in my life? 2. One
Is
of
it
them
the
is
one with the
missing.
clown
one-
makeup and we're naked and we're got the grapes and the oh no. That's my other one. Sorry. That's my other one.
Those are your dreams, not my dreams. It's missing a moto. That's a reoccurring one for me. And the other one is crashing in an airplane, but never hitting the ground. It's so bizarre. Those are the only 2 dreams that I have over and over. I don't have them a lot, but I don't have reoccurring dreams except those 2. Missing a moto, and the circumstances are always different, but it's missing a moto. And then you're going down in a plane, but it never crashes. And you wake up. It's just crazy.
Do you know what's crazy?
Wow.
Eric Rupe, this is crazy. That's the same 2 reoccurring dreams I have. I'm not kidding.
Crazy.
The same
Wow.
It's pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah, I have the same 2. I miss a pro moto, and I can't understand why. It's always a different circumstance. I missed it, and then I'm in a plane and it's going down, and it's still that they both bother me to this
Right.
day.
Well,
Well, I think I've figured it out. And even though I occasionally still have those dreams, I'm not bothered by them anymore. I think racing was such an important part of my life, and missing motos it's always something we all don't want to do, right? So that was always heavy on my mind. And we traveled so much. I was on airplanes so much. It's always on your mind. You're always praying before your flights. You're always, faithful that you're going to get there safely. It's such a big deal
Yeah.
that's so much on the forefront of my brain. It's probably why I dreamt about those 2 things, because those things were huge at that part in my life.
Yeah. It's true.
But both of you guys missing that World Cup first moto
Dude,
is interesting.
unreal.
It's a dream that you both have, not just of that race, but maybe that has something to do with it because you were both like super.
I
super
never had
upset.
that dream before that race.
Scarred for life in
I didn't even know that
85.
was possible before that race.
Oh my god.
I will tell you this. I did try to sweet talk my way onto that moto sheet, but it did not work. And I can't remember her name. I'm not sure if it was Randy Moore's mother. It could have been, because she was working the Nashville track, but it was somebody. But I kept like trying to fudge my way in there, saying, I just want to check the score sheets. What'd you have me? What'd you guys get? What place did I get? I'm not sure what place I got, because I knew I missed it, and I knew my day was over. And then, Bob Tedesco's not sure what to do. Jim Banks, they're all that. It was a clusterfuck. And I didn't get on the motor sheet, and my day was over. It was sad. I was so ready for that race.
I was an absolute thorn in their side, because I just went straight to the tower down by the first turn, and I just got in everybody's kitchen about it. I was like, "What? You started the race early?" But well, Mike, it was I get through the day. I go, yeah, but you started the race early. What time do you have? And I kept asking Jim, "What's your watch say?" I just kept asking him over and over, "What's your watch say? What's your watch say?"
Yeah, that's horrible.
That is
well,
horrible.
you know what? Lesson learned was not wait till the last minute.
Well, I mean, we're professionals, but we were still very young professionals. And, in such a young sport to begin with, there was nobody to really teach us about being more time management efficient as far as racing and all that. We were still green, right? I've gotten so much better, of course, since that incident, but I'm so much better with time management at the races now. It's just a hard way to learn one of those lessons,
It's a Yeah.
Gosh.
You know what's really
Yeah.
funny was it was only a couple of weeks ago. There was a national in Southern California, and so I was leaving Southern California going home, but I had to drive right past the national. So I stopped, and I stopped for a specific reason because there was somebody I wanted to grab to ask him. I went there to ask one guy to come on our podcast. And as I'm driving up to the gate to where the national's being held, the guy is riding his bike up the street, warming his legs up. And I ride up and I roll the window and I go, "Hey, guy!" And Eric Rupe goes, "Hey, what's up?" And I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Hey, man, I can't talk. I'm going to miss my race. I have to hurry up and go back right now."
I
I'm
can't keep
telling you.
having these dreams.
I didn't recognize you at first, and the first thing you asked me was, which way to the BMX track? And the track was behind us, and up ahead is the lake. And it was only halfway through him asking the question, did I realize that's Hollywood Mike. And
Who's this joker?
it was just very funny.
Yeah.
Very
So
funny.
good.
Well, listen, brother, there's no secret. I love traveling with you. We were not teammates, but I always felt like we were.
Well, we were like brothers. We were just brothers from another team. That's all.
It's exactly what it was. Yep. Always enjoyed it.
Right.
And you are a rad jumper. I'm just a little bit rad.
You are a little ratter, that's for sure. I'll give you that.
Oh man. Oh, just this was worth the wait to have you on.
I appreciate
This was
it.
a lot of fun.
I know you've been asking me for a while, and I'm glad that we did it. I really am.
I just want to
And-
say, man, it's like your longevity and the level that you've been able to ride at for so long, dude. It's super, super impressive, man. To like, there's nobody else that even comes close. There's not another name that even comes close to being able to, like you said, you never quit, man. And you were always at the top of the list. From as long as I started racing 78, you were already up there winning a whole bunch.
Right.
And it's still to this day, dude. It's really, really, I can't think of another, I mean, from an athletic standpoint, I mean, recently injured John Force in drag race. He spanned 4 decades. It's
Cal
really
Ripken?
rare.
Cal Ripken in baseball.
Yeah, it's just really rare, man, to see somebody be able to be this good for this long, always, man. And I didn't want the podcast to sign off without acknowledging that, man. There's just nobody else that's done it the way you have, dude. It's really impressive, man, and you deserve all the accolades for it.
Thank you. I am really appreciative of that. But I got to say, because my brother straight up has asked me this many times over the years, how do you keep doing this? How? I mean, how? I am seriously in the middle of season number 50. Okay. And this is nonstop racing, nonstop.
Yeah.
And here's how. I have the answer. Here's how. I was driving to that national where I saw Mike a couple weeks ago. I'm 40 minutes from that Grand Prix BMX track because it's just Thursday and I'm going to practice. My palms are sweating because I'm nervous. And I can't wait to get on my bike and go around the track because I get to race this weekend. That's how I can keep doing it because I still get butterflies. My palms still sweat. And I'm still like a 12-year-old kid pulling into the parking lot and I've already got my helmet on. That's how I still feel. And my brother described it as he knew it was time for him to exit when he didn't have those feelings because nothing got him worked up like that. Yeah. And it's still, I still feel like it's new to me, even though this is, season number 50. it still feels new. I still get excited. It's still fun,
That's really cool, man. And that, you're lucky.
Yeah.
That or blessed that you have that still, right? Because
Yeah. Well, I didn't create it. This is just the way I was made. I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed to have been made this way, to function like this.
To find
So,
something and to find something that you're so passionate about, right? Being passionate about something is a secret of life, right? It's a driver, man, and
absolutely.
it keeps you healthy and it keeps you sane. And so that's why I say you're lucky and blessed that because it's very rare, man. It's a really rare thing for people to find that, dude. And you've done
well,
and you've ran with the ball. you
well,
definitely ran with it.
One of the things that I learned at a young age, and this was hard for me to take when my AA career came to an end at the end of 1990. Okay. I was head spinning, didn't know what was coming next. And here I am, only 27 years old. And I'm thinking I'm old, right? And I don't know what to do next. And when I got a second chance at a totally separate other career, racing vet pro, which lasted 15 more years, it was like a second lease on life. And I looked at the whole racing experience differently after that, because the whole turning pro, being AA, being at the top of the mountain, being #1 pro more than once, and then having that all end, and then almost getting to relive that again as a vet pro. If that's not a blessing, what is, right? And so I was able to really embrace that. And even after the vet pro thing ended, now I've had this third career where, yes, I'm racing amateur, it's still fun, but now I'm teaching kids.
Yeah.
This is like 3 different careers, all within the same sport, It's
That's
just
awesome.
beyond amazing to me. And I do feel truly blessed.
Well, it's cool. That's cool that they got that vet pro class, because it did bridge. It created a bridge for you, right? Because
Absolutely.
had you not had that, chances are you probably would have stepped away and found some other career, and then you wouldn't have had this amateur career. You have all these kids that you're teaching that would have not been blessed with your experience and knowledge.
Right.
So, man, really cool. I love it.
Yeah, all this stuff is everything happens for a reason. There's reason behind everything if you're just patient enough to observe it and look to see what the possibilities are, right? I mean, there's always reason and meaning in everything, You just have to find it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree totally.
Yeah. And so blessed to have done this all these years, and having somebody support me the whole way as far as sponsorship goes, and just moral support, financial support, just everything from products to money to everything. And I mean, I joked about this with my dad the other day. I'm like, you know how lucky you are as a parent? I said, I was racing for 2 years when you got to stop paying for anything. 2 years. And you haven't paid a dime for anything since. And he just kind of laughed.
Yeah, but you did lose his golf clubs.
Well, that's only because
he did lose his golf clubs over it.
Yeah, it's because he let Rob borrow them. That was his mistake.
Oh man.
But I mean, imagine doing this for this long and still being able to make phone calls and send emails and have people send you stuff and happy to have you use it. How blessed is that? I mean, but I still ride really cool bikes with all kind of cool stuff on them, and people are happy to send it to me.
You are blessed. You truly are blessed in that capacity. But don't mistake. It's earned.
Yeah.
It's not charity, man. It's
No,
earned.
I realize that,
That's
and
right.
there's been a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication and devotion, and that stuff does pay off when you go to make that phone call
That's right.
and see about getting this or that, and somebody's like, heck yeah, I'd be happy to send you that or whatever.
Yeah,
And if I was just anybody, that wouldn't happen, you
that's
know.
right.
So I have put a lot of into it.
Yeah.
My heart and soul I've poured into it. Because I have genuinely loved it since I was a kid. But it definitely has paid off for sure.
Yeah. And you give back. It's not like you take it for granted either. Like you get it, but you also give it back. So,
Yeah.
you know, to the kids that you teach and all that stuff. I mean, it's great
Well,
to see, Eric. And
well, thank you. One of the things I do like is that, yes, I teach out there. I give private lessons. I have group clinics and things like that. But I would say that I spend more time just giving out free advice to anybody who needs somebody to share with them at this moment because they're struggling. And here I am, I step in and help this person do whatever. And we're not having a lesson. They're not in my class. It's just me sharing what I know with somebody who could use it, you know, and it's such a rewarding feeling to be able to help somebody who wouldn't have gotten it otherwise, you know.
Yeah, that's fulfilling. It's
Yeah.
that's a fulfilling thing. That's awesome, man. I love to hear
And I
it.
didn't think that it would be this rewarding. When I thought about teaching full time, I didn't think it could be this satisfying, and it has nothing to do with getting paid to do it. It's the look on their faces when they feel accomplished, or they learn something new, or they're jumping up and down and excited to tell their dad what they just did because Coach Eric just showed them how to do it, you know. And it happens all the time, and it is fucking awesome.
That's so cool, dude. That really is,
Yeah.
man. It's
Yeah.
it's heartwarming to hear, man. I love it, dude. I love, and you can hear it in your voice, man. It's genuine. It's not
Yep.
It is
Exactly.
genuine. It is genuine.
really
Well,
cool.
before we sign off, there's one big question we got to ask you.
Okay. I bet I have the big answer.
You coming to Dirty Fest?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, 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 yes.
That is so good, dude. Really?
Are you planning on it?
Yes.
That's
All right.
fantastic. Are you
Dude,
going to wear a Schwinn uniform, a Mongoose uniform, profile?
I've got one being made. Schwinn sleeve, Mongoose quarter panel, profile quarter panel, GT sleeve, red line at the bottom,
That is so rad. Oh my God.
MCS helmet, all mixed in one.
You're gonna have, dude. It's gonna be so good. You're gonna have. You love BMX so much.
Yeah.
You're gonna be so stoked, dude. You're not gonna. Yeah, I can't wait to have you there. It's so awesome.
I've heard good things.
Yeah,
I've heard
it's a
good
good
things.
time, man. It's a really, the racing is fun, but man, seeing everybody in one spot that you've known for your whole life is just, it's priceless, dude. It really
Right.
is.
Right.
So
Well, cannot wait to see you, my brother. Can't wait to see you.
yeah.
I just want to sit. I just want to sit and talk with you and hear about what it took to put all this together and what it takes every time to put it all together. It must be.
I mean, what it
must
takes
be
just to get Eric,
overwhelming.
just to get Eric Rupe on our podcast. Wow.
Good stuff.
Oh man,
Good
hey,
stuff.
love you to death, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It means the world to me to talk to you again because it's been way too long.
I appreciate you guys.
Great.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun. Really was.
It's
Thank
been
you.
good talking to all of you, and you know, you guys have all been around for so long that sharing these stories with you, it's not like I'm telling some newbie these stories. You guys were back there then, and you can relate to all of it. So it's been very cool, and I was looking forward to this because I knew that we would have this sort of conversation, and it would just be all good stuff.
And this time we didn't have to wear makeup.
Next time, though.
Next time. You know, there was one other brothers, siblings, not siblings, twin brothers that I didn't ask you about. I want your opinion on what you thought the difference was between these twin brother racers. We talked about the Clem twin girls, but there's a set of twins that raced. What about Tommy Brackens and Mike Miranda? What was the difference between those two, do you think?
One of them used sunscreen and one of them didn't.
You know what he would? I don't know. He would get sunburned. I would tell him, but he would still get sunburned.
You two guys, you seriously were brothers from another mother. There's no question about it.
Still are,
And
still my twin
I
brother.
can imagine. I can imagine. You know, I saw Tommy last year when I went to Atlanta, and he's the same guy. He hasn't changed. He even looks the same.
I know, it's crazy, right?
I know.
I saw at Dirty Fest last year. His brother Charles was there, and as Charles came, and I gave him a hug, and he goes, "Yeah, I know. I'm the brother, but you're the twin brother."
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. People used to say those guys must have been separated at birth or something.
Unbelievable. Oh, hey, love it, brother. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for saying yes.
My pleasure. My pleasure, guys. Thank you.
This is an easy one.
Yeah.
Hey, one more time, JV, congratulations on the New Jersey Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, JV.
Thanks.
Big deal.
Very well deserved, and I know you feel honored for that.
I do. Thank you. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Gonna be
Awesome.
fun.
Okay, fellas.
Sweet. Big
Easy
Daddy,
one.
can't wait to see you at Dirty Fest, dude. Thanks for coming
Yeah.
out.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that one, you bunch of dirty knobs. So please do that. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button. Comment if you have anything to say. We'd love to hear it. And we will be back out here in 2 weeks with another one. And thanks to our sponsors. Speaking of which, we are going to read some commercials to you now. Thanks for showing our sponsors the love because they're showing it to us. Thanks again, and we'll catch up to you soon.
Hey, this is John Cruz. No, we're not having an earthquake. I have Parkinson's. What do you think of that, Michael?
We ought to pitch in and get you a gimbal.
That would be nice. But seriously, this is John Cruz, and I obviously have something going on, and I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 20 years ago this year, actually. So I've chosen the Davis Finney Foundation over the years to be my voice for Parkinson's. If you're not familiar with the Davis Finney Foundation, Davis Finney is one of the winningest cyclists in American history. He's the roadie, if you guys remember those roadies out there, all that Lycra and stuff. But he is just a great man. When he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, he decided to make a difference in people's lives. And his choice was to start a foundation. And that foundation obviously wishes for a cure for Parkinson's because there is no cure at this time. But they recognize that you have to live with Parkinson's. And your caregivers are having to live and take care of us. And the Davis Finney Foundation, that's what they do, is they only look for a cure, but they look for ways to enhance the quality of life for Parkinson's sufferers and their caregivers. So I appreciate all of you supporting the Davis Finney Foundation. It certainly means a lot to me. I know we all have something, right? So I think it's important to give back to our communities, whether it's BMX or a foundation that's close to your heart. If you don't have one, please choose mine. I appreciate you.
Well, thank you, John Cruz. You certainly have made a difference in a lot of lives, including mine, and giving us the opportunity to do something good for somebody else is is fantastic. So thank you so much. And on behalf of John Cruz, please find a way to give something to the Davis Finney Foundation on behalf of John Cruz, the Dirty Knobs, and your entire BMX family. Thank you very much.
All right, all you old coots and young speed demons. This is Todd Huffman with the Frogtown Classic International BMX Days, going on its 4th year this September 6th through the 8th in Angels Camp, California. A little over 4 months away until you guys are able to tear up that downhill track once again. The one that started it all, the Frogtown Classic International BMX Days 2024.
Okay, so we're ready for this. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, record. Hey guys, this is Bill Ryan. I'm the owner of Supercross, and I'm now the caretaker of Torker. Now, Torker, you might see right above the shoulder here of this dirty knob, Mike Miranda. He's got a Torker jersey. He's a Torker alumni. We've been working for 9 years to bring Torker back to its original foundation, to its original roots, to its original twin top tube radness. A bunch of really cool restoration, remake, new versions of what you remember from your childhood that you actually get to ride. If you're in the UK, Alan's BMX, what a fun project. 9 years of my life has been dedicated into this to try and bring more fun to everybody out there. You need to ride a Torker. For more information, you just go to torkerracing.com or follow us on Torker Racing on Instagram. Boom, you're going to get to see all the inside stuff.
And then sing it out right now.
All right, coming live and direct from the Colt Clubhouse in Santa Ana, California. Come on down and get all your BMX needs. We're giving away free air for your tires. That's all I got, brother.
That's great. That's great. All right. Now.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
Velocity Bike Park is the premier bike park for riders in Southern California, with 25 miles of world-class trails, obstacles, flow track, and races for mountain biking, gravel, and BMX.
Ultramax, when you get home from the races, do you feel dirty? I mean, is your bike dirty? Really dirty? I know you're dirty. Well, that's when you need the Ultramax sponge, guaranteed to get all your hard to reach places clean. I know, because Hollywood is always dirty. Not available where reading glasses and bobbleheads are sold, but you can still get an Ultramax t-shirt at dirtyknobs.com.
B-Side Bikes, the very best in original vintage BMX and motocross parts. With many parts to choose from, we are consistently selling and buying. Hit us up for your special requests. Chances are we can find it. Since 2015 and family ran B-Side Bikes. The passion never fades at B-Side Bikes. It just continues. B-Side Bikes.
Hi everybody, Toby Henderson, founder of Box, co-founder of American BMX Companies, the owner of Race Inc., Botima, and Cook Brothers Racing. We brought these two companies together to bring you the best quality product you can get for a BMX bike. We're all about the rider, so please check out our Level Up and Rider First programs. See you at the track.
ODI Grips, the world leader in grip technology, home of the lock-on grip system. Check them out over at www.odigrips.com. 4416 Designs commercial. Take one.
There you go. All right. 4416 Designs. We make shirts, but we don't sell them. We're just giving back to the sport. If you're out at Ukaipa BMX and you need a shirt, Hit me up. I'll hook you up with one.
Yeah, I love that. Mega Design Group is a full-service marketing firm. They handle everything from logos to advertising to packaging. Having over 25 years experience in the print and marketing fields, they can handle any hurdle. Check it out at megadesigngroup.com. Cool Stop Brake Pads. High performance bicycle brake pads since 1977. Check them out at coolstop.com. That's KOOLSTOP.com.
Hey, you dirty knobs! You've been watching the Dirty Knob Podcast with Mike Miranda, Eric Carter, and James Vicente. Guess what? Now, I'm Bill Ryan. This is Supercross BMX. You need to click on the supercrossbmx.com. Come on over. Buy stuff. We need to sell stuff so we can keep in business, so we can keep supporting the show. Come on. Do it.
Hey bro, how's it going? Go check out the new apparel at supercrossbmx.com. We got straw hats for those bright days. We got the retro long sleeve. We got the global shirts. We got the speed check jackets. And last but not least, we got the trimmers. Go check it out.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Wilson with ProGate. We are the official gate supplier for UCI and the Olympics. We even make a gate that you can practice on in your driveway at home.
Wait a minute, who else are you making a gate for?
We're making a gate for Dirty Fest. You guys got to come and check it out. Whatever Dirty Fest needs for this track, we're going to supply it. We're not some French knockoff, you know. We're the gold standard in BMX gates. And make sure to check us out at progate.net and bmxtracksupply.com, and we'll see you at Dirty Fest for sure. Take care, everybody.
Hey, folks, this is Mike Rodriguez, aka Mr. Crit. I've been racing and making number plates since 1980. You know, like when they used to do one pedal starts. But you know, Crit Plate has been around for 43 years. The last 4 decades, the who's who of BMX have raced a Crit number plate straight to the handlebars. And you know, you get that guy Mike Savage, the international man of BMX, still doing it strong. And you know, back in the day, the plates used to be reversible because there was multiple sanctions, and you could put, you know, one sanction on one side, one on the other. Now you just got one. But Crit is still reversible, and that logo is still on the back. For guys like Mike and you rad guys, you know, like Mike Miranda, who would turn those handlebars and twist them up. And we got it rad just for you.
All right. Hey, where will we see those plates?
Those plates you can see at every single bike shop that stocks BMX stuff in the USA and Canada.
And where will you be at? Will you be at an event sometime soon?
Damn, I'm sponsoring the Dirty Fest. And I can't wait to come out to Southern California and get dirty.
Amy grips, still made here in the USA. Used by world champions like me, Tommy Brackens. If you want to know more about the best grips on earth, go to amy.com.
All right, Mark, you ready?
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dino Bartoli from ABSA Pro.
And I'm Mark Darcy from ABSA Pro.
Together, we are bringing you the ABSA Pro Bike Show Association. Our mission is to bring together a bike show community across the United States. We have these bike shows. We're going to run them all the same with consistent rules and a detailed, organized judging format. We wanted to make an organization so that you guys can get points. So there's a point system, a code of conduct, rules and regulations. We have a membership that's specifically old school bike shows. You want to get on board all that hard work and dedication that you put into your bikes. You want to show it off. You want to have it justified, all that hard work you've done. You want to bring it out to our shows. You want to join our memberships, get associated with us.
Actually, our awards are phenomenal awards. We have best of show trophies. We have 17 classes.
There's 3 trophies per class, and we even hand out super clean awards to some of the other participants that are there. So come check it out. Come bring your bikes, enjoy the shows, and enjoy what we're doing with the bike show community.
Don't forget to sign up.
Our website has all our judging critiques on it, how we judge, what we judge, our 50-point scale with quarter points. We take it down to the nitty-gritty to make sure the best of the bike wins.
Dino, where do we go to find out that information?
You go to absapro.com. That's absapro.com.
Let me say that again, absapro.com.
Ready?
And that's going in.
Yeah. We need a doing. All right.
What's your nickname for like on the mic? Do you have a?
No.
You don't have?
I don't really have a nickname. It's just Mike on the mic.
That's,
She got one.
That's getting edited.
Yeah.
We're putting that in.
Hi, I'm Mike Miller, author of Day One by Michael Miller. And a special offer going out. Anybody who buys the book between now and Dirty Fest, which is April 28th through 30th, I'm going to take all the money from the book and send it to the Davis Finney Foundation for those with Parkinson's. So get your copy on Amazon.com and we'll make a donation.
Hey, what was the name of that book again?
Day One by Michael Miller, which is me.
I'm sorry. Hey, what was that name again?
Day One by Michael Miller.
Hey, support the podcasts that support us, our friends. The fine folks over there at All Things BMX, which is our favorite Wednesday night live podcast, as you know. Our buddies over there at Beer Budget BMX, Big Bike BMX, and BMX Weekly. Check them out. Check them out. Our friends.
What's up, everybody? It's your friend Isaac from Big Bike BMX, and I've got a podcast with my best friend, 80s BMX Craig.
Yep. And guess what, you guys? If you have enjoyed your time here on the Dirty Knobs podcast, we'd love for you guys to come over and hang out with us at Big Bike BMX, where we've got all your old school legends and BMX from the past and today at Big Bike BMX. Isaac,
come check us out. We'd love the opportunity to win you over. And if not, hey, it's just another place to talk about BMX with your grimy friends. It's fun.
Hey, Dale Holmes, I want to tell you something. One of my favorite podcasts that I never miss is BMX Weekly. Even though it has an accent, I still love it.
Cheers, Mike. You can get all the podcasts on bmxweekly.com. Old school, mid school, today's school. Check it out.
Yeah, BMX Weekly.
Hey, here we go. Hey, Beer Budget BMX, baby. Coming at you live from the Beer Budget studios over here at the Hack Shack Quarantine. Oh, man, we're coming in hotter than Satan's nutsack. Yeah, we are dirtier than an Alabama strip club where reclass pros go and get lap dances by their half-sister. Yeah, the only show that'll make you second-guess your life choices like a Amish on an e-bike.
hey, if you guys enjoy what you just listened to, make sure you tune in every Wednesday night to the All Things BMX show, the only live streaming podcast show in the game right now. Even ask Mike. He's been on. Vicenti's been on. Still waiting for that other guy to come on the show. You can find us on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. And you can also find us at allthingsbmxshow.com.
Keep it dirty.
So I got to tell these guys about the technique. Yeah, JV.
Go ahead.
When he chips, he runs his right hand down the shaft all the way down, and so it's like a hockey stick.
Like, oh.
And I'll be damned if he does not good. He's a good chipper.
Well, now remember that's using a 7 or an 8 iron also. So and I'm only just doing this little hockey stick swipe at it. And it's very accurate for putting it near the pin when you're,
Like on the
10
fringe? Or...
10, 20 feet, 10, 20 feet off the fringe.
Oh.
You can use this and put it right by the pin. It's
No,
very
he
accurate.
can. He
Well,
can.
yeah, not anybody can do it, but I practiced it, you know?
That's the
It's
technique.
the technique.
It's called the technique.
It's not for everybody. I look over and I go, hey Gretzky, what do you got going on over there?
Gretzky.
Sorry.
Oh, a flock of seagulls, love it.
That's my ring door thingy.
I really appreciate your time, guys. This has been really great. In closing, I'd just like to thank some people that are very important. I mean, I've been doing this a long time, and I have always relied on and depended on the people that took care of me. And these days, for me, it's MCS, Bicycle Components, Jeff at JD Cycle Supply. I don't think without Jeff I'd be even doing this today, so I just want everybody to know how great he is. MCS components are great. They make great chains, awesome hubs. They're always hooking me up. They take care of everything for me. They're great people, so if you need any parts, that's where you go, JD Cycle Supply. The guys at Mongoose, you can see that I got that Mongoose frame there. I got 20-inch end cruiser. Things are awesome. Those guys hooked me up like you wouldn't believe. I spent so many years with that company. 18 years with a Mongoose jersey on my back. So that's more than anybody else ever. I'm honored to say that. Ray at Fly for always hooking me up. Helmets, gloves, pants. He's a great dude. Appreciate you guys there at Fly Racing. Eric at Vendetta, Form Bicycle Products. Thanks for always hooking me up. I rode for those guys for several years. Toby Henderson at Box, always hooking me up. I appreciate you, Toby. I love what you do. Keep rocking it. Anyway, my friends, my family, my kids, everybody who supports me, and most of all, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without that faith that I have and that strength and that belief, I'd be nothing. I'd have nothing. Anyway, thanks again. I appreciate it. I'll see you at the track.